Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Think Critical YouTube. I am not feeling great. In fact, I lost my voice yesterday, but it's much better today. So we actually get to get a show in. And I hope everyone had an amazing Christmas, are ready for an awesome new year. And we do have Dylan returning to the channel, the real comic book gamer himself. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm doing good, man. It's good post-Christmas.
Very nice. So you spent the day with a lovely lady. You spent the day with your family. Did you get any good presents?
Yeah, actually.
Boom. Let's see these bad boys.
This is what my brother got me, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited for once I have my shelf set up, because I just moved, so I can put this up there. But for right now, it's off the Jim Lee cover, so I think it's pretty cool. So I was happy with that.
So when you put it on the shelf, does it come out of the box or does it stay in the box?
That'll come out of the box, yeah. I'm generally not a big in the box guy.
What are you talking about, Sparrow? You have an entire storeroom full of stuff in boxes.
I don't. Everything comes out of the box. I don't have room for the boxes anymore. The boxes take up too much space. I got at one point, my friend Marie said to me, "Why do you have all this stuff boxed up in the garage? What is it for?" And I was like, "Well, one day I'd like to have room to display it and put it all out, and it'd be really cool." And she said, "By the time you'll have room to display your entire collection in a house big enough." Yeah, she's like, you could just afford to buy it all again. And she was right. So I sold off all my box stuff, and now I just have the loose stuff, which is really the stuff that brings me joy anyway.
Very nice. So, Dylan, obviously you're a big Superman fan. You got the awesome action figure. Is that actually a statue?
That's a statue.
Okay, you got the cool statue there. We got Superman this week. We got the Superwoman special last week. Are you feeling like I'm feeling about this?
I didn't like the Superwoman special. I enjoyed Superman this week. I feel like Williamson's getting better since this Superwoman stuff has happened, even though I'm not the biggest fan of I hope truly this doesn't stick around, because I don't like Lois with powers, but I feel like Williamson has stepped up his game since this has happened, since AllIn.
I thought the Superwoman special was really bad, and I thought this last issue of Superman, them trying to go on dates over and over again, was kind of boring.
It was kind of
explain it to him, Dylan.
I liked it. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed this last issue. It wasn't as good.
Did you enjoy the interludes?
Yeah, I like the interludes. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun issue.
There you go. Somebody had fun, Jim. Not you and I, obviously.
Well, we're miserable.
You are miserable.
Yeah.
Jewel, did you enjoy Superman this week? Tell Dylan he's wrong.
No, I'm not going to do that. I haven't read it. I got to admit, I'm 2 issues behind. I know you said 20 was really good, but
20 is great. That's the good one.
Best issue of Williamson's run.
I think the problem that I have is that if you didn't read the Superwoman special, it wouldn't be much of a problem, even though Dylan has. But the idea that felt like more of the cool down, even though it's kind of a separate thing. And then I wanted to get back to, there's so many big things. That's what I think the problem is that it's so good that you just want to keep on going with the big stuff, but you have a little bit of a cool down until the end.
Yeah, definitely. Very nice. Face down.
Yeah.
And you're not enjoying Action, though, right?
I'm not reading Action. I haven't read any of Action. I don't care for their all-star initiative.
You don't like the
Well, there hardly has been one since there's only been Mark Waid and a couple of pencilers, right?
Yeah. Well, it's Mark Waid, Jason Aaron, Gail Simone, and next will be,
I know, but
it's been Mark
feel
Waid
like
so
since
long.
AllIn started, it's
he's been doing it for like 3 months.
Yeah, it's just because they made it was like bi-weekly, and it's all Mark Waid.
And it's weird because it's
all weekly.
I think it's like 12 issues.
And I haven't read a single issue of Mark Waid.
They've been fine. They've been okay. But, like when we were talking about Absolute Superman, it was another Krypton story going on during that time in Action also. So it was like more Krypton.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird because it's still only like 3 months. Like the others had 3 issues, but there's so many issues that it just kind of,
Well, I warned my customers. I said, these things are going to be coming out hot and heavy, and you're going to find yourself, if you save them up, having a shit ton of freaking comic books, that you hadn't read yet. So like keep up the weekly pace on it. And for the most part, I've got people to like stick with it, but we'll see once Mark Waid's off and then you have some of the other writers and the other art teams, how that goes.
Yeah,
You know, it'll be like hard to like stick to anything really.
it seemed like it was like the main purpose was going to be to redefine or get the Phantom Zone like not solid, but get it back to everybody knows what it is, and it seems to be getting away from that a bit, but hopefully by the end.
Very nice. Dylan, you saw the Superman trailer.
Yes, I did.
Did you like it or did you love it?
I did like the trailer a lot. I thought it was really good. I only really had one problem with it, which is I hate that they already have that Lois and knows that Clark and Superman are one and the same. That's the only problem I had with it. Other than that, I thought the trailer was really good and I'm excited for it. But that aspect, I feel like you're throwing away so many story opportunities. It's like we can get there later. We don't need straight out the gate for them to know. But it is what it is.
Did you like Crypto?
I thought Crypto was great. I love Crypto. I love that he shows up and Superman's just bleeding, like beat the hell up. And Crypto's like, "We're gonna play. What's up? You just called." It's like that's exactly what a dog would do. A dog has no idea what's going on. It's just like, yeah, you whistled for him. We're gonna play, right? That was great.
Can you explain to Aaron why it's okay for Crypto not to be a lab or a golden retriever?
It's fine. He can be whatever. He's a Kryptonian dog. He doesn't gotta be.
I have zero problem with
I'm the one
trailer.
that has that.
Oh, that was you, Doc. You're the one that he needs to be a golden retriever.
I feel like it's more
Not my
Americana.
Crypto.
I feel like you do a golden retriever or golden lab. It's more Americana. Sorry.
I mean, I don't disagree with Doc necessarily, but I mean, I'm just happy that we've got a Superman movie where they're actually using Crypto. They're acknowledging Crypto. They're not like going, "That's too silly. That's too stupid. Why are we doing comic books anyway? This needs to be gritty and real and grounded."
And I guess
give
the
me a dog
last
and a
bit,
cape.
last bit of Superman news that we got, Dylan, was Philip Kennedy Johnson, Adventures of
House of
Superman,
L.
House of L, Scott Godlewski following up on the future state House of L stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. So we got Book of L coming in March. I'm so hyped for that. I'm glad Philip Kennedy Johnson's getting to come back to finish some of the stuff that he started. That's my most anticipated book for next year. I'm so happy for that. I can't wait.
I think that was originally going to be like Action Comics because I've heard about this coming back for like a year and a half, but they kept like moving it back for some reason.
This is All-Star Initiative, I guess. So now they're just like, well, we'll just give him his own book.
He's not part of the initiative.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty excited about it.
He's not as big of a name as John Ridley. Isn't that a huge name, right?
Yeah.
Right, guys? That's an all-star.
Yeah.
He wrote
When
that
I
one
think of all
movie
the
that one
all-star-
time.
That one movie that got some buzz for a few minutes.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then all the failed projects that didn't go anywhere, and then that terrible Authority comic.
But we're comics, so we have an inferiority complex, and someone from the movies dares to come down to our level. They're an all-star then.
Correction.
Christopher Kentwell
Anybody.
wrote a show. He wrote a whole show. We should give him every comic.
That's anybody that's outside of comics.
Oh,
not
yeah.
just Hollywood.
Yeah.
Biggest inferiority complex I've ever seen.
No, they're even announcing like David Dalsmachian's coming to Marvel. I was like, that's not a big deal. He's a really bad comic book writer.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
didn't
even
really
really
think
big
about that.
star. He's just that
No.
guy that you recognize in a movie. You go, oh, he's the guy that was in that other thing.
The weirdo.
That's like what you say about.
He's a good actor, but yeah, that doesn't make.
I mean,
you
he plays a good lunatic. Like, that's like pretty much what they cast him as. Is just here's this weird guy, and he was good as Polka Dot Man, but nobody cares like that. He's coming to write a comic book. Look, you had a comic book about Drax when Guardians of the Galaxy was hot. And you brought in CM Punk, who has like over 1 million Twitter followers, and it
3 million.
translated to 3 million, and it translated to 0 bump in comic book sales. 0.
I got it.
Comic book readers do not care about celebrity.
Jim,
And
you read
celebrities
Drax?
do not care
I
about
Yeah.
CM
comic
Punk?
books.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
You-
I didn't mind it.
It's not a question of whether it's good or bad.
What are you looking at me like that? I'll slap you right in the face.
I
No, it's just a
haven't heard
question of
anyone
whether or
say
not
that.
it's just a question of whether or not it puts butts in the seats. And remember,
Yeah.
CB Cebulski was like,
His
remember when
butt's
we
big,
sold
though.
remember when it's a big seat. He's like, remember when we sold 1 million copies of Star Wars? I kind of feel like doing that again.
Sure,
And
you
then he
feel
was
like
like, and
doing
his
that
big
every
announcement
fucking
was-
week.
Yeah, and then his announcement was J.J. Abrams and his son writing a Spider-Man book. and it didn't crack 1 million copies because who gives a shit?
Very nice. So we got our Superman talk in there. That was fun. We've also got Uel Carter, the proprietor of Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. How are things going, Uel? Was this a good holiday season for you?
I think it's pretty normal for me. I didn't have a whole lot of people outside of the store coming in for stuff, but comic books, a lot of times, it's either a lot of people from outside are either picking up stuff for their comic book fan friend, or it's just regulars coming in a lot of times. I'm a smaller store anyway, so it's more location, or it's more destination, I should say. But overall, it's been pretty darn good. These last couple of weeks have been really heavy as far as like flow of comics, but of course, there's a lot of people that aren't around right now to pick up their stuff, and it's still been a pretty good week because of all the junk that they put out. But there's going to be a few weeks coming up in the future where there's going to be nothing on the shelf. So you have time to catch up, everybody.
Very nice. So what was like the big seller? What were people really into?
Well, I mean, I think the absolutes are really the thing right now. Obviously, Batman came out like a week or two ago. We're going to have Superman next week, and we had Wonder Woman. So those are some pretty good ones. The Ultimate books are still good, but I have more of them on the shelf than normal also because, again, of the people that probably aren't in town right now. But those are the big ones. I mean, I could talk about Exceptional X-Men selling out, but I don't order that many.
You order like 3?
No, it's more than that, but it's not Time Slide.
5.
I loved watching you. I loved watching you own Rob. That was pretty funny. Rob,
I'm so glad I didn't get blocked by him, but I made it a quote tweet. So, he was trying to talk about how, retailers really slept on getting that 1 in 50 variant Rob Liefeld Time Slide, cover. And I didn't say anything like, who gives a shit about a Rob Liefeld cover or anything like that. But I'm not buying 50 of any Steve Fox books, period.
Yeah.
There's
I don't get they
20,
sent you a diamond.
10? You're lucky you had multiple covers, or I might not have broken 10 copies. I have people that specifically are like, I read my last Steve Fox.
The only way you order more than like your pull list of Steve Fox comics is if it's inside that $4 comic is $4. like 4 singles.
I'm buying
Like
a lot
pull
of
out the
those.
interior like a trading card. They're just bound in there, and you just pull them out.
Yes, the kind that
I tell you what, Doc, I would get 2 Rob Liefeld variants if that was the case.
I know.
But I don't want to sit. I mean, even if you got all the money back, I don't want that many comic books in my store. Again, I'm a small store, and I can't imagine the retailers that weren't chains, that have more than like 2 stores getting anything like a 1 in 50. You have to be in a Pasadena. You have to be in a New York,
no, or
other than that,
or it's wintertime. And you can send them to North Carolina. They can use them for fuel.
You do not want to be burning that paper and being around that. I think that's very toxic.
It's not even a good variant. I'm pretty sure it's a recycled old piece of art that they just
really Marvel recycling.
Because
covers?
It's got the same. It's not even like recent Rob. There's a certain quality to Rob's recent work that's different from his early work in that his limbs are more proportional now. If you look at that cable cover, his forearm is the same length as his bicep, and his pants are like up under, like old man pants, like up under his boobs. Like just everything about, like his crotch is like a mile long. Like everything about it is off.
So it's classic Cable.
You don't think Cable's crotch spans a mile?
It's actually
he's a superhero.
I'll tell you almost exactly what era this is. It's the very early 2000s Rob, where he switched from all of the curly hair to the where he actually like kind of drew in the individual strands instead of everybody having a jerry curl. That's the first change that he made. He didn't adjust like body proportions or anything. It was around the time of that X-Force miniseries, the 6-issue miniseries in like 2005.
Yeah, where every gun was just like looked kind of like a weird like hair dryer, and the everybody was straight armed and like holding a knife in a really unnatural way, all of that stuff.
And
That's
a lot of
exactly what
teeth.
it is. A lot of like a million teeth, but no teeth on this cover because Cable of course is grim, so he's got a closed mouth. A lot of lines, a lot of frown lines around it.
So there's not a big audience in Berkeley for Steve Fox.
Steve Fox.
Yeah,
most of the actually the Steve that's really picking up some steam recently is Orlando. His Avengers Assemble and some of the Conquest books for the last few I've had people actually coming in and saying that they really like them. So take that
I read the first issue of Avengers Assemble.
Yeah,
that was enough for me. But I've read enough Steve Orlando books as it is.
Yeah, me too.
Did you check those customers that were coming in and saying that they liked it for head trauma?
No. Hey, if you read it and like it, I'm happy with it.
You're willing to pay for it. You'll willing.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Yeah, please take these off my hands.
The thing is like they were doing those Conquest events, and it feels like this was probably supposed to be a book that was supposed to be monthly, and they just shoot it out for five issues every few months, and there's been a few of them, and I guess people have been enjoying some of the future 2099 stuff or space 2099 stuff.
My assumption is whenever you like launch a book, it comes out weekly, and that's almost always what happens with Steve Orlando and what was happening with Leah Williams at the end. Like they know that there's never repeat orders. Like people have to order everything at once because you don't want actually people to read the book before you order it again. So. Very good. Glad everything's going well for you. Uel, did it snow in California?
I assume somewhere it did. Not in my area. Happy New Year, everybody.
Absolutely. We've also got Aaron Sparrow. Are you recovered from the getting hit by a car incident?
Mostly, yeah, I'm mostly recovered. I'm still a little bit sore here and there, and every now and then I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, that's a pain in an area I didn't have before. But it goes away. So yeah, it's been pretty okay. For getting hit by a car, it was the best case scenario. Except like nobody caught it on film and I didn't look really cool. But I mean, they also could have caught it on film and people would have been like, oh my God, a car hit a manatee. What happened? Like depending on how you flopped, it might not look that great. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
No, you said you landed on your feet. It had to have looked cool.
I mean, I guess, but if you could have been an angle, I could have been like, whoa, I could have been making a dumb face. Who knows what would have happened?
Next thing you know, your shirt's going above your head, and that angle on the move.
You got, just like belly out, and you're kind of flopping forward and just staggering. It's like everybody's like, oh my God.
Did he envelop the car? I think he did envelop the car.
It's like that guy. It's like that guy hit Flubber. What happened?
It's a good thing he had that insulation to absorb the impact of the car. I think the car got it worse.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, well, I mean, it didn't hit me in the dad gut. It hit me. I jumped up and I landed kind of like on my shoulder and my back and did like a roll, which I think was pretty cool. And then when he hit the brakes, I rolled back off and landed on my feet. But so in theory, it should have looked cool, but who knows?
I would have found somebody with a camera. How was your Christmas? Did you have a good time? Did you get toys?
I have not opened any Christmas presents yet.
What are you waiting?
Well, it's just one of those things. Like this happened last year too. It's just like in the chaos of Christmas and of dinner and like having everything. By the time like everything was done, it was like, do you want to open presents? And it was like, no, I want to sit here on the couch. Is what I want to do.
You want to watch the Chiefs game?
Well, no, God no. might have to have. They might put the camera on Taylor Swift, and I don't need that.
I don't think she was at the game. I never saw her on the broadcast.
Was that the one that Beyonce was at? I don't want to see that either. I don't want to see her celebrating.
She was in the Ravens game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to see her celebrating Diddy's white parties.
No. The Steelers Chiefs game was just a celebration of the Chiefs beating the only ever loving shit out of the Steelers. That was but you know
still
what?
A much better game than the other game.
I still got a wonderful Christmas present. The entire planet got to see Mike Tomlin's incompetence live. He's a bad coach and shouldn't be here. It was clear when he squandered Ben's last few years. It's clear still today.
You're saying he's not the greatest coach of all
No.
time for going out first round of the playoffs every single year?
And hey, guess what? He gets to not have a losing season. That's wonderful. You
First
don't
of all,
have winning seasons either.
The losing in the first round thing has only been the last decade. He did actually win a Super Bowl before that.
Yes, with Cowher's team. He won
Was
one.
Cowher the fucking general manager?
I have a question.
No, he is. But he has. No, he's not the general manager, but he does have roster control, and he has had it for the last 10 years. Although that 10 years that he hasn't won a playoff game.
Sparrow's got a sports ball question.
Yes.
Yeah, is this about me?
No, Tom.
He cut you off. He couldn't.
Oh, then I've lost interest.
Okay. Sorry, man.
No, I'm kidding. I was just like, what are we talking about? Sports ball. Coaches.
Doc's been holding this in because the Steelers got mollywopped by the Chiefs.
Love watching Tomlin get embarrassed.
Listen, if Doc is willing to sit and listen to me dump all over Tony Khan and AEW, I can listen to him dump on a football coach.
But before we get there, so I had an awesome Christmas. The boys had a good time, and we got these Treasure X things. Have you ever seen these, Sparrow?
It sounds familiar, but I don't.
It's like a mini Castle Grayskull. And you open it up, it's got some slime in it, it's got some trapdoor things with these little things. And it turns out like the kids loved them. I got one for all three of them. It was their favorite thing that they got. And then my wife, to celebrate, she's like, those Treasure X things are really cool. It's like a dollhouse. And she took the fun right out of it.
Yeah, it would have been better if she would have said it's like
Castle Grayskull, but small.
Castle Grayskull, but there was actually a toy line. And I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. It was
The
like
pocket ones.
Yeah, but it was like Polly
things
Pocket,
for
but
girls?
for men it was like Max Steel or something like that, and it was
Really?
like a whole little
Max
it was like a
Steel.
whole little land. Like
It wasn't
you'd buy
Peony
like
Pocket?
you'd buy like
Micro Machines.
you'd buy like that
Those are
too,
great.
but you'd buy like a serpent head. Like there it would be like, oh, look at this serpent head, and it's like some kind of serpent mountain, and you'd open it up, and inside would be like the little kid's secret agent and all his little buddies and something like that. Somebody in the chat will tell us. Mighty Max, thank you, Dark Admiral Marchair. That's what I was trying to recall. Mighty Max, that's what it's like.
But
See, and the
they're
kids would
pretty
have
dope.
liked
It's
hearing
like-
that.
It's really neat.
They would have
I
liked
was
hearing that
surprised. I didn't
description
know what I was buying.
because it had Mighty in it. The kids would have been like, yeah, but when you say like it's a dollhouse, it's like, boys go, I don't know.
Yeah. And then the kids stopped playing with it because you said it in front of them. Like dollhouse. I don't want to play with that. So they're not cool anymore, but they were cool for about 28 hours. So. Did you get any good toys for yourself this Christmas?
Oh, I
What
got
was your
plenty of
big
good toys for myself.
Well, what's the
there was a meme going around, and it says, it's kind of like the Anakin meme where he's talking to Padme, that little 4-panel thing that people do. But it was Rodimus Prime and RC, and Rodimus is like, I bought a lot of toys this Christmas, and RC's like, as presents, right? And then Rodimus she's like, as presents, right? No, so I got the remainder of the figures that I needed to build Blackheart. So I got all the Strange Tales figures. They did like Damon Hellstrom, and they did Dracula and Bloodstorm and like Helverine. All these characters that are kind of like mystic, and that'd be a good place to put like a Mephisto figure, because they didn't put it out in regular big box stores. It was like one of those things where you can only order it through specialty retailers. So I bit the bullet and didn't wait for Ollie's. So I got some of that. Go ahead, Yul.
I was gonna say on the toy thing, I was a little upset when I found out recently about the Sabu Build-A-Figure.
Oh
And
yeah,
the
you have
cable is so
ECW Sabu?
expensive.
No. This is
Oh.
Zabu.
Tiger?
said
the
Sabu.
Tiger.
Khazar,
Mhm.
Marvel.
But see, as a specialty retailer, you could just order a case and then have everything. You
a
could just
case
order
of like
direct.
one figure, probably.
Well, no,
I
you
didn't
can
know
get like
about
the
it.
whole. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can get the
I
whole
know,
box.
but- Yeah. Anyway, I
Then when he
forgot. I
sells it
didn't
out, it
realize.
won't have the Build-A-Figure parts. You're like,
The cable is like
Strange.
$50 to get that figure, and of
Yeah,
course
it's
you
the
need
Marvel
that.
versus Capcom Ian Churchill
Yeah.
cable.
Very upsetting. Very upsetting.
It's the one that people excitedly came into the shop when I was running a shop, and that issue was there with Cable on the cover in that costume. And one of my customers,
Oh,
came
that's
in
the
and was
one
like,
I have.
Yeah, it was like one of the customers was like, finally, Cable's wearing X pants.
Yes. Yeah, because that's the one that had Superior Iron Man, Black Winter Thor,
Yeah.
Wolf's Bane,
Mm-hmm.
Red Widow, and Icarus.
Yeah, and Kazar.
I'd want none of those figures except for
And Khazar.
and Kazar, Cable, and the saber-tooth tiger. That's
Yeah,
all I would
exactly.
want.
I wouldn't mind the Wolf's Bane. I
Yeah, I
like
guess
the
that's fair.
Cable.
Mhm.
I pre-ordered the Cable.
Good move.
It's very, very, the face is very, very Jose Ladron.
Yeah,
Because it was
it's a
that
really good
era.
figure. Mhm.
Awesome. Cool.
I didn't
Very
realize
nice.
that thing was like $50-$60 now.
Yeah, that one went crazy.
Yeah. How's Neil before Doomface going, Aaron?
We just crossed 19.5, so
Wow, almost 20.
it's been really good. We're at 512 backers, so it's really nice. You know, there's some people that have like less backers but more money, but that's because they charge so much more. You know, it's like $30 for buy-in on a book, and we did a lot of different tiers, including like a $10 tier. Which then went, once we were past the 72-hour sale, went to a $15 tier. But you can get a physical copy for $15, and then digital for $10. So, we had a lot of different options for people to buy in. And I know a lot of people overseas were getting the digital version because they're like, yeah, like shipping here is ridiculous, but I want to read it. So, and that's what I want. I want people to read it. I don't want people to be like, I got this, and I put it in a bag and I hung it on the wall and there it is. It's like, you can do that and I'm happy about it. But
That's
please
what the
read it.
second copy's for, obviously.
That's
You
right.
should have said a collector's copy.
Right? You can. There is a 2 cover option. So even if you want to get the same cover, one to keep pristine and one to read till the cover falls off, it's perfectly fine.
Very nice. Weird Science Jim. I know that you were looking forward to the football games on Christmas. It didn't turn out that well, and then the Thursday game sucked too. So.
Yeah, Thursday game was so bad. They kept pointing out that the last time they had that score, it was the Mariners in town for baseball. That's when it's bad. But yeah, I didn't mind watching the Christmas games. They were just not, they were blowouts. But that Thursday game usually sucks anyway. But they've been kind of good. But that wasn't very good.
Did you get up for Beyonce? Were you like dancing on a couch and stuff?
Yeah. I broke my table. I was dancing so hard. I was doing a little my line dancing. I was to her country songs. Awful.
So I know you also were putting off the opening of presents. Did you guys finally nail down a date?
Yeah. Nailed down the date. Now that got changed, so I don't know when it's going to happen. It was going to be next week, and then all hell broke loose, and that's not happening. So yeah, no Christmas here.
We're gonna do New Year's Eve. Sounds like
Dude, you should start getting your boys coupons for Christmas.
Well, I do have some coupons that we have to use by the end of the year, and I keep telling them that we have to use these things. These are stuff from last year, actually, from my son, his last year of school, because he was homeschooled. So we ended up getting like food coupons. I'm like, we got to use these things, and nobody seems inspired.
The store's favorite thing is an unused gift certificate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I don't know. I've been doing shows and stuff. The holidays are never good at our house, and I don't feel very good right now either. I don't know. My voice sounds a little deeper, sound a little sexy.
You do sound more sexy than normal.
Yeah, something went wrong last night. I don't know. Well, we end up, our whole house is gutted, so it's about 52 degrees. And then last night, I think it did go down to like 48 in here, and it's pretty bad. It's not great. What?
Just think about your son getting a 75 cents off like tartar sauce coupon for Christmas.
Yeah,
as a stocking stuffer, dude.
That would be great.
Play like gangbusters.
Yeah, he'd be so happy.
It's almost cold enough in your house, Jim, that you could get him some fingerless gloves and just had him go out and, just ask for porridge.
Exactly. I thought maybe he wanted him to dress up like Madonna or something. But so like this week, the only thing, we have our coming up our 10th year anniversary of our DC podcast, DC Comics podcast. So I'm kind of getting some stuff together for that, keep him busy. But
are you going old school? Or are you going to do a 12-hour podcast?
We maybe. I don't know. We could go old school. And this is the thing. We started 10 years ago. We've never missed a week. So we've never missed a show ever. It's gone. I think maybe we just miss a show this week. But it actually is a couple weeks from now. But yeah, maybe 12 hours. Maybe.
Very, very nice. Is Hertz playing on Sunday?
No, I don't think he is.
Wow, you
They're
guys are gonna lose.
grabbing
Kenny
things,
Pickett's
yeah.
really bad.
And he
Not
has
even the
rib injury.
Steelers wanted to play that guy anymore, and they
I know.
suck.
His ribs are hurt. The last I saw yesterday, the concussion deal, and he was pissed. He thought that he really didn't have a concussion, but I guess he did.
Gave that thumbs up.
Yeah, he's like, I went in, and he was ready to go back in, and then the league called in and said, no, you got to check it again, and that's what took him out.
We don't know what they're at. They could have been asking, "Are you concussed?" And he was like, "Yeah."
He's like, "Yes, I know." But yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But that's what it is.
Does it involve the refs and the Chiefs again? Because I'm kind of tired of that.
The
conspiracy
Chiefs?
theory.
Yes. Yeah.
Chiefs.
No. It's weird. Like during the Eagles game, a flag goes, and somehow they're called for pass interference for the Chiefs that played 2 days before in their own stadium, and I don't get it, but it happens.
The only reason that it looks like the Chiefs might get some type of favoritism is because anytime there's a call that does help them, they invariably capitalize.
Well, they
on
do capitalize on it. That happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the big
that's
deal.
why they give them the calls. They don't waste them. They just like this.
You don't want to waste that call on those guys.
Yeah. And the Dallator said, Hertz is out. He didn't practice all week, so I figured he wasn't playing. But they're in big trouble.
Well, very nice.
Yeah.
We would introduce Doc, but Doc has gone out to choke down a heater. So we will talk about the new Thinking Critical Patreon backers. Really appreciate this. If you want to be part of the Thinking Critical family, the best place to do that is on Patreon. I want to say thank you very much to Not Robot, protector of Silicon Ward, who went from, I think, the Aaron's Never-Ending Christmas Tree tier up to the Doc is Right tier. Thank you very much. Returning, we've got Alexander, a.k.a. the Spatial Surfer, protector of the multiverse integrity. Also returning is Alan, a.k.a. the Stellar Knight himself, protector of Cosmos City. And newest backer of Think Critical Patreon is Enrique Johnson, the Atom Striker and protector of Core Haven. Really appreciate that. If you're interested in getting all those extra podcasts and supporting the channel, there is a link to the Patreon in the video description. Should be lots of fun going on there. And we do have some super chats. Let's get these. Odin 87 morning, gents. Just wanted to wish you all a happy new year. Here's hoping 2025 treats you well. Any wishes for the upcoming year? I'm kind of wishing for another Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest.
What a
I
waste
think
of
that's
wish.
going to happen.
Hey, you don't even need to wish for that. That's just gonna happen.
You made a Super Bowl
Already in the
victory, right?
Yeah. I would like another Super Bowl win. 3 in a row would break a record. Yeah, let's cement the dynasty. What's your big wish, Aaron? What are you wishing for the next year?
I'd like the Superman movie to be good.
Yeah.
I would like it to be good and hopeful, and I'd like to come out feeling good about it and feeling good about the future of the DC universe and DC movies. And I'd like to be excited about something in the cinema again. That would be a lovely thing. My
Jim, you got a big wish?
regular wish.
Sorry.
I say my regular
No.
wish is always just for comics to improve.
No wishes for Jim?
To live, or maybe to die. I don't know. No, I
The
hope
tots
that.
up. I
Yeah,
can't.
Jim, hear me out. Jim,
Less
what if you
DC podcast.
Jim, what if you lived, but you lived to win until you die?
You mean like an old 80s or 90s a karate movie? I live to win. That'd be
just if you
great.
could do as Paul Stanley did before you.
Yes,
And
exactly.
Definitely start wearing the shirt like he would wear where his full chest was out.
Well, if I'm going to do like Paul Stanley, it starts by bitching about Gene Simmons, is what that would start as, and then telling everybody how Ace Frehley and Peter Criss suck. But yeah, I don't know. I hope the comics get better. That's more of my whole thing of that, and maybe I'm not as lazy. That would be cool too. That's a personal thing. But yeah, just I hope that everybody has a good year. Not too many people die besides me. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not big with that. I hate looking forward to things and stuff like that. It just gets me down.
Dylan, what's your wish for the next year?
Aaron had a good one. I'm gonna say I hope that they don't mess up the inevitable Snake Eyes debut in the Energon universe, because that That would make me very sad if they.
You're not
were
looking
like,
forward to
"Here's-"
the Kelly Thompson Snake
Yeah,
Eyes
they're like,
miniseries?
she handled the Arashikage so well. We're giving her the Snake Eyes series. It's like, that make me very sad. So I'm hoping they get some premium talent on there and they actually don't mess it up. That's my hope.
I hear Brandon
You'll-
Jerwa is available.
That would be great.
Be a great.
You got a big wish for the year, Yule? You looking to sell out of Absolute Wonder Woman?
I'm hoping. So I made a big change in the store recently, and I have no bills anymore. At least outstanding bills. So I'm at zero again.
So, like, you got rid of electricity?
No. I mean, I have to still. All right. So you got your utilities, obviously, in the comics that you're
okay.
picking up and rent. But other than that, I have no bank fees, is what I'm saying.
Oh no!
Oh,
You know what,
yeah.
Yule? I
Cash.
got an idea. I got an idea for a show for you. Yule
What's
Carter's
that?
Yule Carter's Comics by Candlelight.
You can do that. So I'm really looking forward to some of the big comics that are coming out next year, and let's see if I can't actually start making money rather than paying off all my debts. And that's really what I'm looking forward to. You know, I'm curious to see how Hush is going to do, because if it can do even what, I mean, I was at a much bigger store when that came out, but if it could do half,
75%?
maybe a quarter of what it did before, I should, in my store, oh my god, it should be great. And if it can continue with the Absolute and the Ultimate stuff that's going on, I could see some pretty good sales. But
If it does
if I'm gonna
half, it'll be over 100,000.
yeah, well, you know, not in my store, obviously.
No, but
Yeah.
That's
I'm just
15.
talking about like the sales from the store. I remember what it was like then, and it was crazy. I mean, just crazy, getting reprints in and just selling those out and having them all out all the time. And if it could be anything like, you know, like I said, just a quarter of that, that should be pretty amazing. But if I'm gonna be selfish, it'll probably be like you said, you know, but Dodgers, you know, Dodgers all the way.
Don't you have enough World Series titles?
Oh,
already?
stop it. Stop. We don't even have 2 in a row yet. Yeah.
Last Doc, do you have
Hush 2 is
a
interesting.
wish for the year?
I wish somebody writes a comic that I actually want to read.
You like
Other-
G.I. Joe?
Well, I like G.I. Joe, and I sometimes like Ultimate Spider-Man.
Sometimes.
I wish somebody wrote an X book that I would like. Any.
That would be
of-
nice.
There's going to be a
one
Chris
of them.
Claremont book, but they haven't announced it
Yeah.
yet.
Doc,
And
we're
I-
talking wishes, but let's not get crazy.
I know.
I
I
do
know,
have a
it's
wish
fantasy.
that I can add in. My wish is just that we get a couple new writers that are actually pretty
Ooh.
good and not just the same recycled bullshit. That might be my wish. Some new
It's-
hot writers.
You said that actor is going to be writing something.
David Dalsmachian. I've already
I like
read
the
enough
idea
books
of
to know
Doc,
he's
like,
good.
Doc rubbing the magic lamp and the genie comes out and he's like, all right, Doc, I'll grant you a wish, but there's 2 rules. Number 1, you can't wish for anybody to die. And number 2, you can't wish for more wishes. And Doc goes, I'd like to enjoy. I'd like someone to do an X book that is good again. And the genie goes, all right, there's 3 rules.
3 wishes.
Impossible.
Yeah,
Cal
I
says-
don't think it's possible.
Neon from Clownfish talked about Harley Fart comic, but of course, Joanne Starr is the writer who is so out of touch. It shows DC must be desperate indeed.
That is such an abomination, that just the idea of that book existing.
That's an April Fool's issue, right?
Yeah.
It is, but the
and-
thing
and-
is, April Fools don't really happen. Like you're like,
Yeah.
hey, your mom died, and hey, she really didn't die. Like fun stuff like
This
that.
comic
right?
actually is coming
This
out.
actually is coming out, so it's the April
Yeah.
Fools on
The
retail.
Fools on you.
Yeah.
For,
Well, are you sure? I mean, I haven't really placed orders yet. for
That's
it, I
true.
don't
So
believe.
don't.
You know what's
don't show it.
what's super classy about it is not only the fact that it's scratch and sniff, but that cover that they keep showing off, where you've got the fart coming out, like Harley's turn to the reader. You got the fart coming out of her butt, and you can follow like what would be the balloon tail, right up to it, so that you know exactly where Harley's butthole is. Classy stuff, DC.
Mhm.
I gotta say though, I'm really into gimmicks, and I got the marijuana one.
Yeah, that
it's
was
still
a
in its
great one.
bag, so I guess this one's gonna go right next to it.
Yeah.
what do you
There's
think
a-
about Harley Quinn fart book, Dylan? You weren't here for the last week.
I mean, this is just like a fetish comic, right? Like, why is this happening? This is weird. This is someone's at DC's fetish, and they just decided to take the whole comic and publish it. That's
They're
really
sniffing
weird.
their own farts.
Yeah,
That's why.
I think that if people have that fetish and they want to see cartoon people doing it, then they really have some problems. Like
It's
real
a narrow fetish.
Do we
Yeah.
need
Jagron 2 also brings up the Harley Quinn fart comic book. Wants to know if we're ready. Oh, I'm ready. I was born ready. We'll probably review it with Doc. He probably deserves that.
Oh,
fuck
poor
you.
Doc.
Lane will love it, dude. Lane loves it when you suffer. It'll be good.
He does.
All right, whatever.
Calb says Mark Waid said on Blue Sky he thinks kids should watch porn.
Oh, he's going edgy.
There's no
That's
way
pretty
he
gross.
said that.
That's
When I
gotta
was a
be.
kid, I watched porn.
Is that in reference to?
That's
Is that in reference to
should
him
you?
getting? I mean, did he actually say that, or is that like in reference to him getting mad at Valerie D'Orazio for saying that kids shouldn't watch porn, and him saying that she had a dangerous mind? I mean, there is. I don't know if this is true. I've heard it from more than one source, but I've never looked into it personally. So take it with secondhand grain of salt. But I do understand that when Gerard Jones was busted for all that CP, that Mark Waid is one of the people that wrote a letter in his defense to the court.
Well, he was ahead of schedule with his other stuff at the time, so he had
I heard Mark
He had
Waid
time
also-
to. Yeah.
he said
Dan
to eat
Slott might
baby.
have written him a letter, but it would have been way too late, and Christos Gage would have had to ghostwrite it for him. So
Yeah, totally.
What were you saying, Jim? Sorry, he
He
cut you
said,
off.
I think Mark Waid said you should eat babies too. I heard that. Somebody
Oh.
told me that down the lane.
That's Jonathan Swift that did that.
Yeah.
it was a modest proposal.
Mm.
Jagron 2 Superman looked like he got owned. Ike Yamucha. XP.
Well, I think that's very important because normies out there, the first thing they think when they think about Superman, they'll be like, "Oh, he's too strong. He can beat anybody." So showing him weak for a trailer, I think, is pretty smart.
Yep.
Absolutely. Kalichioki says, I saw Sonic 3 yesterday. I enjoyed it very much. It sucks what Disney is doing to keep that film down. Did you see what Trump's FCC pick said about Bob Iger? I did not see the second part. And of course, I haven't seen Sonic 3 because there's no theater here, but I know Dylan probably did because he's got the AMC pass or something, right?
I do have the AMC pass, but I don't care about Sonic at all. I haven't
You
seen
don't
any of the
care about
Sonic
Sonic?
movies. No, I've never seen the Sonic. I was never.
I can't believe that
I saw
kids care
Nosferatu,
about
that's what I
Sonic
saw.
now. It's just
I heard
thinking
Nosferatu
Nosferatu,
sucks by the end.
No, it's really good. I like Nosferatu. And I'm not a big Robert Eggers fan. I haven't been a fan of any of his movies that I've seen, but this one I actually really liked.
I'll definitely be seeing Sonic eventually. But I don't know what Disney's doing to keep Sony down. They're the ones that do the Sonic movie, right?
Oh, they were
They're
pressuring
concerned
theaters.
about
Paramount,
money
right?
and stuff and how they stream too much. It's just like stuff like that.
Yeah, it's what I heard about Disney, and again, secondhand, I just kind of like saw this and I didn't do any research on it. But apparently they were pressuring theaters to put Mufasa in more theaters and to remove Sonic from theaters. They were kind of using their clout. Like, if you want to keep getting these big Disney movies, to which I would have, if I was theaters, I would have been like, what big Disney movies? Let's see, we got Captain Falcon coming.
They have a
and,
history of doing that too.
Yeah,
they've done that
Lucasfilm did the same
especially
thing.
when they were really hot.
The FCC stuff that I saw
Crazy.
it was just more about the money that they owe Trump and how they're concerned with streaming and not letting local affiliates have stuff and things like that. It's just like that sort of thing.
Very nice. It's probably something that Aaron and I will be covering on the Geek Fix this week. That's kind of the stuff we like to cover there.
It's kind of boring.
Carlitos Figueroa. Hey, aficionados! I just read Timeslide, and it had Marvel's 2025 plans. They don't look great. The comic mentioned 8 deaths in one world under Doom, and those details are out already. So I didn't read Timeslide. Jim, did you finally get to that one?
Nope. I read like 5 pages and I got bored.
It's a Steve Fox book. It's hard to commit, isn't it?
Yeah. 5 pages. I feel like I should get combat pay.
Yule, did you read Timeslide so you'll know what Marvel's plans are for the year?
No, I actually read the preview, or I looked through the previews instead because I thought that was more exciting.
They did one of those like $8 preview books 2 years ago. That was actually kind of good, but there's no way this is going to be good. Yeah. There you go. Jagron 2. I saw Wicked Part 1 this week. I thought it was okay. Dad groaned. Mom loved it. I was able to see the demographic it was meant for. Ariana Grande, yum. All right, so here's the big test. You didn't see Sonic. Did you see Wicked?
Nope,
Dylan.
didn't see Wicked either. Like an almost 3-hour music. I don't care, and I hate that. I know it's based on a
Yeah,
musical
but you have a
that's been around
girlfriend.
for a
How are
while.
you not roped into that shit?
She's Chinese. She doesn't care about this.
Good job,
What are you
Dylan.
talking
Good job.
about?
Find yourself a
Doesn't care
woman that
about
doesn't
white
give a
girl
crap.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
Wicked's
doesn't give a
like-
crap about white girl
But-
stuff.
I know the musical's been around for a while, but I hate this thing of like, oh, this person that was bad in this classic thing, we got to show actually how they weren't that bad. This is like what they did with Corella, what they did with like the Sleeping Beauty villain, what they're doing now. I hate it. I hate this trend. It annoys me so much. Some evil people are just evil, and we don't need. Actually, they were corrupted by this. I don't care.
In some way,
I'm actually worried
this
about
is-
Ariana Grande. That girl is wasting away. Like the press tour looked like. I mean, I thought that I was watching.
They
a
both
preview
look
for,
insane.
Like, yeah, a Dungeons and Dragons movie because I was like, oh, it's a skeleton and an orc. What are they advertising?
So you didn't like Maleficent?
No, and that was like my favorite as a kid. That was my favorite of like the Disney movies. Was
well, they did that with
was that not
Cruella
Sleeping
DeVille
Beauty?
too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Maleficent's such a good villain. Like, I don't stop ruining.
this is the
good
reason why I
villains.
think Spider-Man
Yes.
2 is a garbage movie. Just to let you know, I don't need a sympathetic Doc Ock. Okay,
I don't.
and
get
it
it,
ruins
though. I
the
mean,
entirety of that movie for me.
I don't need a
sorry.
movie where the villain recommends that you read poetry to a woman. Go try that, by the way. Go
Yeah.
just start spouting poetry to a woman, and she's gonna drop an F slur on you.
Well, I mean, they show that in the movie that doesn't work. That Doc Ock is
Yeah.
wrong because he tries that and it does not work at all.
yeah.
Just like, what
Unless
are you
a man
doing?
from Nantucket.
Yeah.
That's true. You know,
Good on you, Dylan. I was
Jim can
wanting
rope him
to,
in with his poetry.
to avoid the entire like Hunger Game. When was it? Hunger Games? Yeah, I think it was. No, that stupid werewolf vampire movie,
Twilight.
Twilight. I tried to avoid the Twilight saga, but I got roped into every single one of those movies in theater. It was rough.
That movie's good to MST3K. You get a couple friends together, you know, have a couple of drinks, and then just tear that movie apart. That's quite fun.
KO Productions, should Marvel bring Bendis back to
No.
spearhead Marvel into a good direction
No.
again?
No,
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 the
he
answer's
cannot
no.
do that.
He couldn't do it. Like, there's no
Look,
way. He's got nothing
He
left in
could
the
come
tank.
back, but he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to be like, they have Bendis under contract. Why isn't he writing anything? And really, that's the best way to be.
Unlike Claremont, they'd be doing us a favor. Like, they're paying Bendis not to write.
I mean, maybe Bendis could, like, you know, be like a showrunner for the universe, maybe a little bit. He's had things that have had ignition, a little spark, in the past, but I think a lot of what he was doing has finished, and he doesn't have anything new.
Bendis
No,
has always
and
been
all
the
the
guy
movies
who, like,
associated with suck now.
he'll come out with a concept that I'm like, oh, and then you read the end of it and you go, oh, like he can't finish anything. He has no end game. He's like Stephen King.
The best thing about Bendis is Alex Maleev, you know, really.
Yeah.
Believe is definitely good. R33S3M, thanks for recommending Transformers. I don't like Alita 1 anymore, but it's a good book. Just finished volume 2. Thanks, Wes. A good show, fellas. Well, I'm glad I could introduce you to Transformers by Daniel Warren Johnson. I also am with you that I don't like Alita within the book. Jim, what do you think about Alita? Are you a big fan of hers?
No,
No, she's awful.
bitch.
Is she the girl?
I don't
Yeah.
know much about her. I know nothing.
But
Me
she's
and
the
Dylan are
mentor
both
for
like,
Carly.
Who cares? Yeah, she has. But I stopped reading the Transformers book like 5-6 issues ago, so I'm done.
You've been
Yeah,
faking it.
I only got through
No,
the
I
first
just
trades.
when
where-
me and
You've
you
been
talk about
faking
it,
it on me, Jim?
when me and you talk about it, I say I haven't read it. I go through it with us, but I said I'm not interested. I'm more of the GI Joe side.
Oh God, these fucking Joe fans, they act like there's no room for Transformers.
No, not in my
Yeah,
Well,
the
mind.
G.I.
they're
Joe side of the
big and
Energon
clunky.
universe is.
I got a
is
very
better.
small heart. Not enough room.
I'm out too much retardation.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's
I
the
know,
show
really.
or if it's Transformers. Not really sure. KO Productions, why can't Marvel bring back Dave Mateus to write in Spider-Man ongoing if he's still writing great minis? Last time, Proto Goblin, etc.
I don't think those are. So
I'm
great.
wondering if
They were
he doesn't
okay.
want to, or if editorial just doesn't want to do it because it would be an admission that all of their great, wonderful, new, excellent writers can't fucking hack it, and they have to go find somebody that hasn't written regularly for 20 years.
I'd also
Well, there's
look at
gotta
the
be-
sales
I mean-
of those minis. I don't think they sold very well either. So
But they're
Why would
minis.
you?
Okay.
yeah,
Why would
not
you
the
bring
same.
him back
Continuity
to
30
write
years ago.
something when there's probably a lesbian living in a rec center somewhere that you could hire?
Yeah.
Or Sweet
Oh, I'm
Talk.
sorry, Sarah Brunstad's gone, so that talent pool is probably dried up.
Yeah.
J.M. DeMatteis actually, commands a paycheck.
Well, that
Not-
might be another thing
not-
because
not
the older
Food
the
pantry.
people that actually made money in comics might be expecting some money when they're working in comics.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why we are seeing more. I mean, of all the people, who is it? Kelly Jones and Matt Wagner are doing those Dracula Kickstarters, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like those are two guys. I mean, why aren't they? Why Kelly Jones isn't doing Batman? He's still drawing and not doing Batman. What's going on here? And it's got to be one of the things. I mean, I assume that's what it is, really, being paid.
Nerd says this, and I love this comment, by the way. I never thought I'd say it, but Doc is wrong. People would definitely watch a live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man movie. It all depends on execution, word of mouth.
I'm not saying nobody would watch it. I'm saying that whenever people are given the choice between Peter and Miles, they always choose Peter and they discard Miles. And if you make a Miles movie where you've now eliminated Peter, your audience will dry up. They will stop coming.
I'll tell you something that's kind of an indicator of this is that when you go to a big box store and there's a Spider-Man line out, like right now, the Spider-Verse figures, that movie came out how long ago? And the second round of figures are finally hitting. When you go to the store, Peter, even with his blonde hair, always gone, but you can find Miles on the shelf.
Well, they might ship more of the Miles.
I would have
Now,
seen
Now,
that.
Miles is
mean,
two per
yeah.
case.
Chase one.
Miles is two per case, but he's the star of the movie.
Mhm.
He should be gone
Well,
immediately.
those figures
And
are probably
kids do
too
like
expensive
him.
for kids nowadays, and it's a kids program. Everything's made for 40-year-old dudes.
Right. So Doc is right, because if you put those two up on the screen, the Peter Parker movie is always going to make more than the
Doc
Miles
is
Morales
not
movie.
right, because I said if they did the Sony villain movies, but they used Miles Morales because they couldn't use Peter Parker, it would have been more successful.
It would have been more successful, but
Thank
still
you,
not
I was right.
successful.
Doc-
But why
Doc's
pour
right.
all? But Doc is right that people are not going to respond as well as to a Peter Parker movie.
But
If you
the
put
thing
those two- if
is,
you're going to
no,
put the
hold on.
money into a movie, you put the money into a Peter Parker movie because you're going to get a better ROI. You're going to get a better return.
But they
on your
can't have a
investment.
Peter Parker movie because they've signed him over to Disney. And this
But those
DMCU.
kids,
They
are
said
going
that
to
they
be
can.
spending
They can
money
use
when
Spider-Man.
that Miles live action actually comes out. Like the people that see, we don't realize, because we're not, cutting our teeth on Miles Morales as Spider-Man, that in 5 or 10 years, if those people are still around or coming back, it's probably going to be Miles.
Well, in 5 or 10 years, maybe that final version of that final animated Miles movie will finally come out.
Right. Well, there is
And
that
all those
too.
kids that watched the first two will have aged out, and they'll be seeing
They'll be bringing their cousins and little brothers.
That's
There was
right.
a-
That's
there's a
what.
lot of adults that
That's how I
looked
got
at
away
it.
with it back. In the
Listen,
day.
society's not going to last long enough for Miles Morales to become
Oh,
the main
stop.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
What are you talking about? We're being saved right now. I hear.
We would need hundreds of years.
First of all, if you eliminate Peter to make room for Miles, you will turn off all of the Peter fans. They will not support Miles. If you ignore Peter and just make a Miles movie, they will go, why am I not getting a Peter movie, and ignore it because it's Miles. And finally, if Disney can, or Sony can make, they can make a Miles movie within that Sinister Six universe, but they're able to make it with Peter. There's no.
They
point in
are,
making
but last time that almost happened, Disney leaked that they were about to walk away, and they got all that negative press, and they had to sign back on. Remember that?
I know that they had to, but they're still. Well, that was when Sony
right.
said they were thinking about not renewing and continuing the thing.
Mhm.
It's only a $5 super chat, so we can't spend too much time in.
I like theater
Well,
movies.
to stop reiterating the same point over and over.
Yule is like got a mercenary sensibility. He is definitely a retailer.
Well, we haven't even
It
got
was
to
more of a
the
$10 chat. I think.
If for a little bit longer, it would be Doc. You're putting way too much effort in this one.
Well, I've already heard this argument for Doc. We put it on the.
He's
the
wrong.
Q&A.
We know.
He is right.
I'm right.
Jagron says, actually, I want an absolute Martian Manhunter review. I want it bad.
Jim and I on Twitter ragging on the fact that it's
Yes.
definitely going to be a 6-issue miniseries.
That was the best.
Oh yeah, he said I got more stories if it sells well. Don't worry. About that.
It won't. It won't. And he's like, well, traditionally, Martian Manhunter has been a tough sell.
Yeah,
and I was like, well,
Martian Manhunter sucks. Why are they fucking doing this book in the first place?
I got news. I got news for you. Dennis Camp is going to radically become a harder sell than
a traditional hard sell. Yeah.
Magnus Norris, FPS is for people who do not love themselves. So when I see FPS, I'm thinking like frames per second, first person shooter.
I thought it was like a
I'm
spray
guessing.
for ladies' underparts or something.
So Dylan, you're
Speaking
taking
of-
his first person shooter?
That's what I'm guessing. He has Agent 47 as his picture, so I'm guessing it's video game related.
I downloaded
How
Marvel
is that?
Rivals. I haven't opened it, but I downloaded it.
That's a third person shooter.
Yeah.
Why do people not
So-
like first person shooters anymore? Doom was great.
I don't know.
Doom
We got
was great. What was-
Doom
like-
is still really good. We got a new one coming out next year. It looks sick.
Oh my
Doom
God.
I'm
is
just
really-
saying it's a
it's
good
still
video
really
game when I played video games on computer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with first
Why
person
are you-
shooters.
That was the best. Oh,
Why are you busting my balls, Yule?
I'm sorry. I thought that's what we were doing today.
You didn't like Doom?
I don't play any of that shit.
They rebooted Doom in 2016. It's really good.
I don't like first person
New one
shooters.
comes
All
out next
that,
year.
moving around.
You don't like going to the
Okay.
arcade and grabbing the gun and shooting
No, I like
aliens?
seeing the back of the person's head I'm using.
Mm,
Working with.
so you prefer
Elites.
GoldenEye?
I'm more of a Sonic guy, I guess. Is what
You
it
didn't
is.
see the,
Goldeneye
you didn't see the
was
back of the head and
Yeah,
Goldeneye.
the Goldeneye
No,
was
that's
first.
Oh, it was. I didn't play
It
that. It
was.
was my brother's.
That was a great
got
game.
stoned and came home, and then all my friends were at the house.
Lot of
playing
stoned
and
people
Yeah, in
bragging
multiplayer, you'd
about
always
it.
in multiplayer you'd always try to pick Odd Job because people would always shoot over his head because he's short.
All right.
Caleb says Wade did say that John Delarose did have a video. Also, Harley Farts will probably have a trans gorilla and drag queens. It's the same writer who did Fire and Ice.
I mean, I can't comment on it because I didn't see
I'll
that
have to
video.
take your word for it. I haven't seen
don't believe it.
personally,
I think
but
it's
I've been
full-
I've been sick for days, and it's been the holidays, so I haven't.
I'd have to know. I'd have to know.
but
the
I'm not on
context.
Blue Sky anyway.
I don't
Yeah,
watch
no,
those Delarose videos, but I think the thumbnails are. I almost click on it, and I'm like, oh, it's a Delarose video. I'm not going to click on this.
I keep
Can
thinking
you
it's like an
not
alarm.
send this to me again? Can I?
It's
like
comic
an
related.
alarm
The
clock
algorithm.
that
The
says
algorithm
everything
wants you
is
to
woke.
watch it.
Shit,
The
man,
algorithm.
one fucking thinking critical video, and I get John Delarose ones. Thanks a lot, Wes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I'm sorry. I mean,
You know what? I'm glad I skipped the video or skipped the commercials now. How you like that?
Oh damn! He's taking food out of your kid's mouth, Wes.
well, that's diaper money, dude.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I
don't
guess the
take
kids
me
aren't
on.
really that little anymore. But yeah, that's dinner money for the kids
Those chicken
they're eating
nuggets,
rice
they're
and water.
expensive.
because of you.
I will take one issue with something that
Maybe.
Callum's saying here is he refers to Joanne Starer as a writer, and I disagree.
Yeah, probably not much.
She
of a
did
writer.
something, right?
Nerd. I also think that Scott Pilgrim versus the World is the only actual comic book movie. I'm responding to the Hulk thing on the Q&A.
The only actual comic book. I don't understand.
Well, it's
that.
got the sound effects, and it's got the onomatopoeia.
Well, what do you think about
Yeah, but the
Darkman?
Hulk-
I think that's the only real comic book movie. How you like that?
The Hulk has comic book panels in it, though.
Ooh.
He should have gone the extra mile and done the the big smash. It's like sound effects on the screen and stuff like that.
You
Then that
wanted
really
the
would've sold it.
onomatopoeia in the frame.
Just, I mean, if you're gonna do it, lean into it.
I didn't like the Scott Pilgrim versus the World movie, but I just think it's not really for me personally.
I didn't like Michael Cera as the lead. I thought that was a mistake. He did a good
Really?
job, I think. But
Yeah. Okay.
but when I read Scott Pilgrim versus the World, it's like Scott should be a dude that's like sort of handsome. You know, because he's getting all these he's pulling all these girls. Like he should have something.
Yeah,
to
you're right.
appeal.
I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah. I like to.
They should have got Jay Baruchel
Oh,
or David Spade.
Or McLovin.
Yeah, but David Spade pulled like Pamela Anderson and stuff.
I guess you know what? I guess it works because you look at all the chicks lining up for Pete Davidson, and that guy looks like
maybe he should have been Scott Pilgrim.
that guy looks like
I don't get that at all.
He's got a big Peter.
Is it because he's like a damaged bird, and they want to?
No, it's the size.
No, I think it's because
the size of his wang.
I think Jim's right. I think that he's working with a hammer. He's got the Ric Flair going on.
Yeah, supposedly it's like in the double digits.
Double digits.
Yeah.
You need a lot of blood
Around?
for that later. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And that both.
There you go.
He gets lightheaded when he gets excited.
Yeah, I bet.
Magnus Norris says Jay needs help. He's a special needs person. Which Jay are we talking about here?
Nakamura.
Maybe
Leno.
Could be Jay. Fatal Jay.
Jay Leno does need help.
Yeah,
Someone needs to help Jay Leno. He's going through.
He fell down
now.
a hill. He's all right now.
No. You think he could just like look at his cars all day and just be okay with it?
The story that he told was pretty funny though, because he said he fell down the hill and these old ladies were walking by and they're like, "That looks like Jay Leno," and then the other one was like, "What would Jay Leno be doing in like wherever they were?" And they were walking up like, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" Oh my God, it is Jay Leno.
Hey there.
He was going to like the Cracker Barrel and he didn't want to walk around, so he went down a hill and fell. The Cracker Barrel and old people, that's like crack, you know. You can't
Fatal
stop
Jay,
that.
maybe. Maybe
It's gotta be Fatal Jay.
He's got a burrito to eat.
On stream.
He needs help. It's very big.
So I guess we'll get to the main topic, talking about kind of the state of Marvel and DC. This will probably be most of what we talk about, but we'll hit it from obviously the reader perspective, Marvel, DC, obviously the retailer perspective. So Dylan, you're the big DC guy. What is your feelings about DC Comics today? The state of DC heading into 2025, knowing that we're getting a Green Lantern Corps, we're getting an Aquaman, we're getting some more Absolute books out there. We got another Superman book coming. You excited? How things going right now?
I am excited. I don't care too much for the whole Absolute, that being the big overarching thing, but I do like the books that we got right now. I'm excited for Aquaman. I'm excited for a new Superman book from Philip Kennedy Johnson. AllIn's been pretty good so far. I'm happy with the direction of DC right now. I just hope that things don't go falling apart, because that seems to be what happens anytime DC actually is on a roll and things are going good. They're then like, what if we just fucked it all up? And they do that consistently. So it's only a matter of time. You just always know the doom is around the corner. And that's what I'm worried about. But right now, I'm happy with what's going on. I'm excited. We got some things returning to status quo. Like Nightwing's decent again. It's not just the plot's actually moving forward. We don't have Tom Taylor on there. Green Arrow's interesting right now. I'm excited to see Aquaman coming back with Jeremy Adams writing it. That sounds really cool. Philip Kennedy Johnson coming back to Superman sounds very exciting. Seeing him finish some of the things he set up, that's got me really, really excited to see what happens there. It's just the Absolute stuff I know is the wheels will fall off. And but right now I'm enjoying some of the Absolute books. Not Superman though. The other two are actually fun right now. But Superman's terrible. But we got Jeff Lemire writing Flash, so I'm excited about that for Absolute. That's my next thing with Absolute that I'm excited for. But as far as DC goes, it's looking up, but it's just it's gonna crash eventually, and it's just
no, it's already starting, Dylan. You're already right. It's they go, hey, the Absolute universe, and like some sales success comes their way, and then they're like, we're gonna do Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb back on Batman, and you're like, all right, and then they go, and it's gonna be Hush 2, and you're like, all right, I'm less excited. I would have rather you maybe did something original. I think you guys are think that Hush is way more popular villain than he actually is, but that's fine. And then they go, yeah, man, we really got some momentum here. Hey, let's announce a Harley Quinn fart special. And everybody goes, oh God, what are you doing? So every time they start to pick up momentum, every time they start to pick up speed, it's like they shoot themselves in both feet right away.
Well, they also haven't shown that they've been able to create a new architect, another Jeff Johns, because we know that Joshua Williamson isn't it. I think Joshua Williamson's pretty good for solo books generally, but he's not an architect. He can't put things together. He can't do the big event stuff. Yeah. We know Scott Snyder's definitely not that guy. I personally like some of Scott Snyder stuff, but when it's on single books, when he does big stuff, it's bad. It's really bad. So it's like, who's your guy? Because we know that DC can't resist events. They're going to do some big event. Who's the guy? Who's the person? Obviously, Jeremy Adams is you think is someone you would put up there, but they haven't showed that they're going to do that yet. So
I don't know that he
give
has
us the
experience
architect
either.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get like a Jed McKay over at Marvel, where everybody was so into Jed McKay, and then they tried to elevate him, and it just might not be his thing.
Yeah,
and then it it pulls people off, and people kind of get a bad deal with it.
Like with Williamson, yeah.
Williamson, I agree fully. I just don't think that he has the the deal of being that kind of guy. I think he writes some really good singular stuff, and maybe like a crossover, but not an architect.
I think Adams has the potential, but at the same time, I almost don't want them to go to that well, because I don't want them to burn him out.
Yeah.
If you put a guy on too many books, you're going to burn him out. He's not going to be able to deliver the quality that he's been delivering. So I think that I think it's probably best for all of us if they don't tap Jeremy Adams for that just yet. Like let him build some more things. Let him set some more foundations of some of your characters. Obviously he made the Flash really great. And what did they do? They shot themselves in the foot, and they took him off Flash, and they put Simon Spurrier on there. And now Flash is destroyed again. So they killed that.
Oh my God, I can't sell that.
Yeah,
it's one of my lowest selling books. Just to let you know, like Exceptional X-Men kicks its ass.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Think about that. Like, I'm not worried about Time Slide anymore when I got Flash.
Yeah, the thing with, like I said, with Jed McKay, and I'm not saying he's bad, but you don't want to have that writer that you're trying to push, and people keep saying, well, I really liked his Moon Knight. You get that sort of thing where people are pining back for what he's already done. He's fine. I just don't think he's an architect either. He did the Blood Hunt and all that. I think that it was too soon.
I think these companies blow these events out of order or out of proportion, or maybe these mini series shouldn't be called events, or maybe you shouldn't have a ton of different mini series associated with it and crossing through all the books. And it's like, it is kind of a fun little thing. Like, what happens, let's say, when the vampires, rise up? How is that going to affect Spider-Man? And that's the thing about Marvel, is like it always kind of, those things affect the Marvel universe more, but you never, you could just say, see events in Avengers, what's going on, double up the Avengers issues if it's got to be the Blood Hunt and, the Avengers books, but it doesn't need to be a Spider-Man miniseries. And what pisses me off even more, sorry about talking about Marvel, Spider-Man, they started on a 1-issue story that was Blood Hunt related, and then they had a freaking mini series after that. And it's like, what are you doing? All the Hulk issues were Blood Hunt related. They didn't have a mini series on top of it. And DC does the same thing. And what's the 2-month in between everything being good at DC that they're going to do this year?
Yeah. I wish that what DC would be to hire maybe an event coordinator, somebody who is a past writer or editor, somebody that can go in, and they're the person who coordinates the things, lets the writers write individually and have a group effort.
You mean like a Kickstarter liaison?
Editor.
You mean like that?
So no. Like Tomasi isn't available anymore because he's at Ghost Machine, and Jeff John's obviously gone. But if they had somebody, I know that everybody hates Mark Waid, but even his event stuff has kind of sucked. So I think they need somebody to come in and just be almost like quality control, but go and do the stuff the editors don't seem to be doing either. That's the mess of both companies. I think the editorial and the the upper deal that aren't even there. And somebody even said like a Dan Jurgens would be pretty good to come in and be a coordinator, make him be not the architect, but the guy who's there to guide people, like Jeremy Adams. Everybody loves him. He's still new to comics. I don't think you want to throw that much. He's doing tons of books, but have somebody
let him sit on Aquaman for a while.
Yeah.
You don't have to elevate him any higher.
Yeah.
No, you do. You let him build up Green Lantern. You let him build up those mythos. You see what he does with Aquaman.
Yeah.
And if you let him set a solid foundation with some of DC's core characters, then that's actually a foundation that he can build on when he does he does eventually do an event.
Like a couple of years from now or next summer.
Stop taking him off of books and replacing him with jackasses like Cy.
Well, if they could do a team up type book over at DC, Jeremy Adams would be really good for that. Brave and the Bold, Batman and some lame character, because I think Jeremy Adams is kind of like Jeff Johns. If you look at the beginning of his career, he was dealing with Flash, and he was building up the villains, and he was doing that with a lot of the characters before he got, the Green Lantern gigs and stuff like that.
And he got that by luck. Mariko Tamaki bailed on it, and they offered it to him because he was not on anything at that point. And I'm telling you, I talked to him at that point, and he was legitimately worried that he was not going to be in comics in the next couple months. He said that he had Flash Gordon, and then he was excited about that, but he thought he'd have to start doing independent. But he said, I don't have a name for myself yet for independent stuff like a Kickstarter or anything. And he was really worried. Luckily, because he got kicked off the Flash because they told him they don't like the direction it was going. And all you could think of is they didn't want the family aspect of it. And obviously people like that. So
yeah, well, editorials like, we don't like it. Yeah, it's selling.
Then kill them off.
And
kill
that's
them off. You can't, because you got to milk them for money. That's the problem.
The thing about Jeremy Adams, I think why a lot of people like him is because he's just a nerd who likes comics. Like, he's not trying to shove a message. He's not trying to be fancy. He's not at a dinner party saying he writes graphic novels, not comics, stuff like that. And it works that way. All the rest, you said about A Brave and the Bold with him would be cool. You put Tom King on it, and every guest star is dying, or at least is going to be having trauma or injured or worse. And it's like, you don't need that. I think people are so over that right now, and DC especially. I think they have to get on board with that and kind of go forward with more people like a Jeremy Adams. Just have some fun.
Yeah, I think there are far too many modern writers that are solely inspired by Alan Moore and Grant
Misery
Morrison.
and Alan Moore, and don't even get that right.
Tom King wants to write. Tom King just wants to write about himself. He's not even trying. I mean, he's he's just like, what if every character were me? It's like, well, I don't know how to tell you this, Tom King, but you're not interesting. You're not interesting at all.
That's the other thing. When they say, a lot of people are like, well, people want characters that are like them and end up. And I'm not saying anything more than when they're like, oh, look at me, they're texting, and I don't need that. That doesn't inspire me.
Those are the worst.
When every comic is like what used to be in People magazine when I was a kid. You'd be at the dentist office, you'd be flipping to people. It's like, celebrities, they're just like us. They walk their dogs.
I don't need
they
that.
Poop. Oh my goodness.
They eat breakfast and talk. Oh, they do? That's cool.
Yeah, you're never really supposed to see people shitting in movies and stuff like that. It's like, it's not the part of the movie we care about.
But now, have you noticed in a lot of movies, they love to do that now? They love to show a woman sitting on the toilet.
Well, I mean, every once in a while, you would see that, and those are thoughtful movies, or but
Dumb and Dumber had a really good toilet scene, and it wasn't
for sure. I mean, it's got to be important to the plot, so of course that was.
It has to be a character defining. It has to be a character defining poop that they're taking.
Exactly.
Oh, a good one.
Oh shit.
So Dylan, are you excited for any of the other stuff besides, obviously you got AllIn with the mainline continuity, but you got the Absolute Universe there. But it seems like they want to put more focus on Elseworld stories, where we got this Batman Barbarian that was already supposed to be coming out. They've announced that. They've kind of announced a couple of other Elseworlds. Are you excited for new DC Elseworlds?
My problem was when they did the Elseworlds thing, they're like, here's just more Batman. That's my big issue. Is because I think Elseworld stuff is cool and there can be interesting things there, but it's here's a bunch more Batman books. Give me other stuff. This is your time to experiment. We got Batman everywhere else. Let's do some other characters instead of here's just a bunch of what ifs with Batman. I don't need that. I got enough Batman. Give me other characters that we don't get to see that much. That'd be cool.
And Batman's kind of doing better now, because I really like that Batman and Robin book. I think Detective Comics is actually kind of good right now with Tom Taylor, at least early. Batman's not very good, but
that's not going to last, Wes. It's Tom Taylor. It's not going to last. It's always that thing of you're like, oh, this isn't.
Doc's going to tell me that he was right, and he'll be right on that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this might be the one that actually does well for him.
Ooh, exactly.
The thing is, though, you don't.
He's going to Tom Taylor. He's going to Tom Taylor it up. You can't.
He's going to go back again. At one point, the guy was the guy who killed everybody, and he was kind of okay. And then he got, I don't know, people got in his ear, but maybe he'll go back to some cool stuff. I don't know.
He already started talking about white privilege in the book. You guys are fooling yourselves.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing. He can't get out of his own way.
Well, it better it happens in a Batman book. I don't care. How you like that?
This is fair.
Superman's at least good right now. With Superman pretty good. You got You got this other Phil Kennedy Johnson Superman thing coming up, so it's not a bad time to be a Superman fan unless you like, Absolute Superman. I don't really like that very much, Dylan.
Yeah, that's the only Absolute book I'm not enjoying right now. I actually like Batman, Wonder Woman right now, but Superman is really Absolute Superman's bad. But the main Superman book's good. Not reading any Action Comics, so no clue how that's going on. But the Book of L from Philip Kennedy Johnson, I'm stoked for that. I can't wait.
So you like this week's Ultimate or Absolute Wonder Woman?
I did. I thought it's nothing to write home about or anything amazing, but I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious when she ripped her own arm off.
Oh yeah.
I was like, where did this arm come from? And I was like, oh shit, that's her arm.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff.
I was excited about that because she got rid of her dumb tattoos. Like,
I
I was
think
like,
the
good
tattoos
job.
magical.
Tattoos are part of the magic, yeah, because she didn't have the
Yes.
tattoo at that time, and then it's like,
And then she
yeah.
replaced it with like
Yeah.
one of those
I'm hoping-
droid
yeah.
arms from the Jawa
Robot,
fucking
yeah.
thing. It was quite
Yeah.
shitty.
It looked
Yeah.
like a side lamp.
Yes.
But also, I hope that it was
lamp
the arm of a robotic serial killer.
It looked
And
like
we
the
could have some
opposite.
stories from that.
The opposite of the arm that like Absolute Batman would have built for her, like the complete opposite of that.
Oh yeah.
This arm is a
Batman
car.
would have had the biggest arm in the history of the world.
Yeah, just
Whatever
No
God
enormous
made her that
stick
arm
with
should be
7
very
fingers.
ashamed.
Yeah.
Very good.
But yeah, once she ripped her own arm off, I was cracking up in that book. I was like, this is pretty hilarious.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Sully says it's just Kelly Thompson ripping off Berserk. That tracks.
Never.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, I don't know how important it is to Berserk, but things like that happen in comics all the time. Hell,
They,
No, no,
they
no,
steal,
happens
they
in
steal from manga
entertainment
all the
all the time.
Yeah, they
Absolutely.
steal from manga all the time. Just in mainstream comics, it just never
I
results
mean,
in sales.
like Led Zeppelin wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for musicians
That
before
is
them.
true.
So you obviously, as a retailer,
Yeah.
sounds like DC's doing good. They're all in. I'm sorry, their Absolute stuff is doing the best.
Mhm.
You've got Absolute Martian Manhunter, Absolute Flash, Absolute Green Lantern. Has that interest carried over to the other 3 books?
I don't know if like people are really paying too much attention about what's happening at the time, going forward, at least in my store. I'm not really working too hard to let everybody know about that stuff. DC, hell, when I get the promo posters to put in the window, it's usually the week of or the week before. And it's not really good. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or
Uh,
whatever?
people need time to pre-order it. You should
Yeah,
put those
exactly.
out when you announce
But,
it. Like, here's the
you know,
posters.
I kind of read my customers pretty well, and I'm not too worried about. I mean, I kind of know how to order a Martian Manhunter book, regardless if it's absolute or not.
5?
I'll probably, as it's getting closer, start asking people. But
I know how to order one too. You skip that line on the order form.
can't skip it though. I mean, there's the people that buy everything.
And you might miss a Rob Liefeld chase cover.
Yeah, exactly. But
The one
come
of
on,
150
dog.
Martial
You gotta
Manhunter
get that
cover.
variant.
Yeah.
Jeez, that incentive
Yeah, like we
variant,
took
I make
a-
money on that.
Took a 20-year-old piece of art and we gave it to a colorist who threw some digital effects on it and bada bing.
The thing about the DC stuff is, with the exception of like a few things that I'm like, okay, well, this Batman Hush is going to be a big deal. I'm not quite sure if, like the Absolute Flash and Martian Manhunter are going to be really something that people want that much of. It's just pumping that steroid in so that chicken lays those eggs.
I just think it's funny that Dennis Camp is the Kelly Sue DeConnick of this announcement, like the Absolute Universe with all the big writers. Scott Snyder, Kelly Thompson. Like, she's not even the Kelly Sue DeConnick of this announcement. Like, it's Dennis Camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like when they did Black Label and they're like all the best writers and Kelly Sue DeConnick, and it's like this is like all the best writers, and you're like, and Kelly Thompson, and they're like, no, we got somebody far worse.
Supposedly, he might be taking over Batman after the Hush 2.
Oh, please.
Ooh.
Please do it.
Hey, man, I hope so. We could do it.
Yeah,
You're
some
right.
people just want to
Great.
watch the world burn, man. Let's do it.
The thing is like just the Jeremy Adams books are really the ones that excite me the most over at DC.
It's the Aquaman and Green
seriously,
Lantern.
Aquaman and Green Lantern Corps and stuff like that. You can only That's not, it's not Batman Hush. It's not Batman. It's not Dennis Camp on Batman.
I like a good Aquaman book though, because they're never, even if it's awesome, they're never going to tie it in everything else. It's going to be its
Right.
own thing, and he can really build it up there.
I would agree with this. And I mean, I'm glad that they're doing these side characters and that we're going to get some hopefully solid people working on them. And, it's not all Batman. It's not all Superman and the Trinity and stuff like that. But, as a retailer, you can only get so excited when Aquaman's getting a new #1.
There's a ceiling to what anybody's going to be able to do with Aquaman.
That's right. Yeah.
But I think that's where you'll get the best kind of like creativity, because you probably have less editorial oversight getting in the way and interfering.
Well, sometimes that can be a good thing, as we've seen, and other times it's not that great.
Because there's no editors at Marvel.
Right, exactly. I mean, it is nice. I mean, Jeremy Adams being able to work on that in the playground. I think I saw somebody mention a playground earlier, and not get hassled by anybody. Nobody's really going to have to. I can't expect the DC editorial that the suits are going to be like, "Hey, man, we're going to really make some money on this Aquaman series." You're fooling yourself.
I don't. You would think that. I mean, you would think that Green Lantern would kind of have the same like freedom, but I've heard that the Green Lantern editor is a real bite in the ass.
Really? Well, I mean, the thing is like we don't really always ever know the inner workings of, hey, this is going to be a really important character going forward, and we can't really fuck him up early.
Oh, that's right. We got a shitty Tom King led GL series coming out on HBO Max.
If that's the way it's got to be, that's the way it's got to be.
All right. So, Jim, I know you're a big DC fan as well. I'll let you have the last words on your thoughts of DC right now heading into 2025 and your expectations, and we'll head over to Marvel.
No, I like the direction they're going. I'm pretty much right on with Dylan. I hope that they find somebody that can kind of right the ship fully and guide the deal, because I don't think anybody is there in editorial that can. And yeah, there's some cool books coming out. I like the Absolute stuff for the most part. And, I'm looking forward to Jeff Lemire's Flash, Absolute Flash. Not so much that Dennis Camp, Martian Manhunter, but we'll see how that is.
I'm looking forward to Martian Manhunter more than I am Al Ewing.
Well, yeah, because you want to laugh. And, well, yeah, that too.
Flash or Martian Manhunter will look pretty cool, though, I think.
Good artist on it.
Yeah.
And, I like a lot of the direction that these AllIn books are going. So, yeah, some of the ones are even a bit surprising, like the Tom Taylor's okay so far. But stuff like Batman and Robin is great. I'm interested in Green Arrow, and can't wait for Jeremy Adams' books. So there's a lot coming down the pike that I'm interested in. I don't get too excited ahead of time, though. I'll see how it is. But I think that if they can keep getting some momentum going and just get some good books written by good writers, I hope they find some new writers as well. But we'll see.
So let's move over to Marvel Comics. I think Marvel in a much different place. Obviously, Doc being the Marvel aficionado. The X-Men franchise, not a whole lot of fun to read right now. The Spider-Man franchise, not a lot of fun to read right now. But we do have Joe Kelly, I guess, promised to come on full-time. So that should be interesting going there. We got One World Under Doom. Most of the stuff to be excited about from Marvel is what it could be, I guess, in the future. But I don't find a lot of great things right now, Doc.
No, I'm not either. They don't have any creative. They have virtually zero competent writers at that entire company. They have some decent artists, but nobody that sticks around on anything for any length of time, either by choice or by editorial decree or whatever reason. But they're not on any books for any length of period of time. The X franchise is dead. I don't see it recovering anytime soon. This is probably the worst the X-Men line has been since it was in reprints in the 60s. It's that bad. If creatively it's it's shot there, and really there's no hope for it coming anytime soon. Spider-Man, I am looking forward to seeing where that goes with Joe on that. I think it has the potential to be either incredibly middling or has the slight possibility of being somewhat nonsensical. But at the same time, it also has the best chance of being good. Then again, I said the same thing about Gail Simone on Uncanny X-Men, so fuck if I know.
Doc was wrong.
Well, I said it had the best possibility. none of it manifested though.
Well, let's hear from Uel as a retailer. Is the X-Men stuff moving at all? I assume that the Ultimate stuff is cooling down a little bit.
The Ultimates has pretty much stayed pretty solid as it was. Like I'm still having people come in and buying back issues. They're just finally getting around to reading Ultimate Black Panther now. And so actually I am still selling Ultimate books quite well, and I am ordering the 3rd, 4th, and 5th prints of all the books so that I have in my store, I call them the cigarette books. It's the ones that everybody will ask me for if they don't see them out on the floor. And so like the Ultimate books would be behind me, the Absolute books, Amazing Spider-Man, Avengers, most of the classics, Transformers and Saga, these are the alternate. Oh, and Conan. Those are the other ones. So Conan, Saga, and Transformers are the ones I put behind me. And I have all the variants that come out, or I should say the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th prints, like I said before. And people are coming in and they're still buying them. So that's pretty exciting. We have the possibility of getting the Maker coming out eventually, right? And so that will be a thing that will happen. Hopefully next year. Yeah. So, and we have the Hickman stuff going on, and that Godzilla Avengers that I just saw that in the previews, and like John Romita Jr. is going to be doing the art. That's going to be crazy.
It's going to have a different writer.
Or is it Fantastic Four? I forget. It was something like that. So there's
going to be one shot, different creative teams.
Yeah.
He's doing the first with Ryan North, I believe, with Fantastic Four.
So, and then we're going to see if like Ryan, we're talking about DC, if anybody can step up and do events and stuff like that. We've got Ryan North. We'll see if he can step up and do his Doom event. It's like Marvel was like paying attention to Aaron, and they're like, oh, this is not the Doom. This is the Doom.
Yeah.
Could there be a crossover in the future, Aaron?
With Ryan North? Absolutely not.
With you and Marvel and Doom,
well, I could maybe teach Ryan North how to be funny.
I'll listen to you.
You how to write like funny stuff. Like
you make it sound like there's no funny Canadians at all.
I mean, there's not many.
Sean Candy was hilarious. Dan
They're all
dead.
Canadian.
It's just basically like they all worked on SCTV. That's it.
Wayne Gretzky, hilarious.
Wayne Gretzky.
So I think Marvel actually was more exciting in the previews for next year than a lot of the DC.
I'm excited for Ultimate Wolverine. That design.
Oh, there you go. But the thing is like Marvel's volatile. They'll either do something really good, and then they'll just like they'll squeeze that orange, and then you get a ton of different series that go along with it, or it just really falls on its ass.
Well, One World Under Doom's going to be 9 months, so I'm expecting a lot of tie-in series.
There are, and then of course, you're going to have Doctor Strange, and he's going to be in Asgard and stuff like that. And I don't know. I mean, it's not the Harley Quinn fart book, but
pretty close.
It might be
Spider-Verse versus Venomverse.
Yeah, and I forget who's writing some of those. And Steve Fox is still around. Steve Orlando is still around, regardless of what I said about Conquest.
Cullen Bunn's coming back for Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, but he's going to kill the multiverse this time.
That's fine. Right. I mean, oh my God! And then there's going to be another Spider-Verse thing, and I just can't stand that stuff anymore. It's so depressing to have to continue. You guys out there, you read these books. You buy these books, you see them on the shelf, and you laugh. You don't know anything about ordering this
Sully's
you, don't
fault.
know,
everybody-
you don't know Yule's pain.
Does
I
everybody
mean, I've been
remember-
doing it I've owned the store since 2011. I've been ordering every single time since then. And I did it before that too. I mean, I did it back when Marvel had the Age of Apocalypse.
Hey,
It's
remember?
so
Remember not too long ago, whenever they did a thing called End of Spider-Verse, and people thought it was
Oh.
going to be the
They
end
also
of
did
Lost.
End of Venomverse.
Yeah,
Oh,
and people thought
you
they were going to
promise?
be the end of those things.
Yeah.
Final
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Now here's
So,
Aiden.
Dylan, you're not much of a Marvel guy. Is Predator versus Spider-Man getting you excited for Marvel?
I like Predator versus Wolverine, and then I read the first issue of Predator versus Black Panther and was ass. So then
It wasn't
that
very
was
good.
yeah, and that's where I'm at. So
This one
Is
has
Ben-
a really good artist on it, though.
is Percy's doing this one too, right?
Yeah,
Or is-
unfortunately.
Who's doing the art on it? I haven't really paid attention.
Who's your? Is it Marcella? I'll find it here.
Oh, the
Marcelo Ferreira. It's Marcelo Ferreira.
Yeah.
Marcelo's
Thank
really
you.
good if they give him a good inker.
Okay, I will definitely check out the first issue, but I'm not holding my
You're
breath.
not
for it.
committing to it, huh?
No. I'll do like I did with Black Panther versus Predator, where it's like I'll check out the first issue because I thought Predator versus Wolverine was surprisingly good. I thought it was just going to be
Till the
a
last
cast really
issue?
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Predator versus Black Panther, which should be awesome, was
Should be the easiest thing
Yeah.
ever.
that
Well, here's a
first
little
issue bad.
trivia for you guys. Colonel Silverstreak, Lexi, and Notorious KID and Kneel Before Doomface were all designed by Marcelo Ferreira.
Ooh.
He did the character designs for me. I gave him all the reference, and he put it all together. And so
And
yeah,
Lexi
I
is based
love,
off the Shuri, right?
no, God,
Oh.
no. Here's the funny thing: they're doing Predator versus Spider-Man, and obviously Spider-Man's their big character, so that'll get them some attention. Spider-Man is never a character that I would pair against the Predator. I would never want to see that story. He's not a killer. He doesn't have that killer instinct. So putting up against the Predator inherently has a huge
Predator versus Punisher
chance
has
of
a
being-
lot more.
that was where I was leading to, is like if they had the balls, they would do the Frank Castle Punisher versus
Especially like a
the
Predator 2 in New York deal with Punisher. That'd be so cool.
Mhm.
maybe the Predator's hunting Craven and Spider-Man needs to help Craven. What do you
That
think?
would be better.
That would
Or
be-
Craven hunting the Predator once it's hunting Spider-Man.
Right. It's like there's no reason for a Predator to go after Spider-Man. I mean,
He
he's
doesn't
not
kill.
threatening
Like the
it. Yeah,
whole
exactly.
thing about
You're
the
right.
Predator is it has to be somebody who, now in Predator versus Batman doesn't kill, but he comes in conflict with the Predator because
Sure thing.
the Predator is killing mobsters.
It's
You
the
can do
hottest
the
month
same
ever in
thing.
New York City is the reason it's happening.
Mhm. You should, I mean, it should be the Punisher.
That's Predator
Predator
2.
2. Predator 2.
Yeah, but it's LA. Remember? Get your ass back to your cage in Alvarado.
That's a very good movie.
No, it's not a very good movie. And I remember as a kid being pissed off because I was like, oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't beat this thing, but old ass Danny Glover's going to do it. Murtaugh's going to do it. He's too old for this shit.
Yeah.
What do we think? Are we excited for Imperial, Yule?
Yeah, I think
Jonathan
so.
Hickman.
I'm gonna push it hard. I've got the Hickman fans in the store. I mean, some people that
Salt and pepper.
it's some of the only stuff they'll
Yep.
read. You know, what was that?
I said your salt and pepper. You push
Oh,
it.
okay.
I've had something.
But I mean, yeah, I think that's cool. I'm really looking forward to what Weapon X-Men. Joe Casey's gonna be doing that one. I think the Spider-Man. I'm looking forward. I mean, I'm looking forward to a brand new #1. Everybody, how many covers will be there? All that stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping he'll be able to pull that one out. I think Marvel is just a little bit more exciting. They're usually a little bit more exciting, and whether or not they can pull through is really my question. Yeah, do it, succeed.
Marvel obviously is still the big seller at your store.
Yeah, always. I mean, it's how long have they been #1? I mean, we can hate it.
There are a couple blips,
But-
New 52, Rebirth,
Yeah,
but
And
Yeah.
each
40
time,
years,
it was a case where DC
might be
could
50
have
years.
taken the lead by just not fucking up, and then they promptly fuck up, like just
right.
aim the gun straight at the groin, shoot their dick off, kind of fuck up.
Well, when DC's at their best, they're not imitating Marvel.
Exactly.
And the absolute universe is imitating Marvel, like Marvel's supposed to be the wild company that will do something that will piss everybody off, and DC is supposed to just be the company that does solid stuff. Oh, those old timers really do. It's very rare that we have a youngin like Dylan that cares about DC Comics, and that's anybody that's not 50 who's young.
I'm not 50, and I love
I
DC
know.
Comics.
Well, you're pretty young, but when you got kids, that ages a person, I think, in most people's eyes.
Yeah,
I
that
have an
adds,
old
that adds
soul.
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. You're there already. You're
Welcome,
curmudgeonly
welcome,
enough.
welcome
You're...
to 50, Wes.
I don't really consider myself a curmudgeon. More, it's just kind of an asshole.
Oh, well, there's maybe that.
It's more playful in nature. Than
When you
just
get
being
older, it's
grumpy.
curmudgeonly instead of being an asshole. Although Doc will always have that title, right?
I was
God.
curmudgeonly when I was 20. Like, I was already, like... just
Oh, no, that's
irritated with
called
everything.
being jaded, I think.
Yeah, it's called being Gen X, It's like...
Goddamn
like, man,
CDs don't sound nothing like the real music.
Yeah.
God, these
Right,
fucking
right,
kids
yeah.
kill me.
Gen
I
X
like this music.
was 30 when we were 13.
Well, yeah. It's true. We did walk to school uphill both ways and all that good stuff.
Bunch of
So, is there
latchkey kids.
anything for Marvel you're excited about in 2025, Doc? You think you're looking forward to? Deadpool, Wolverine, Ben Percy?
I am looking. No, I'm looking forward to the Weapon X-Men. I'm looking forward to. Well, actually, you know what? I'm not looking forward to it anymore, unless it ends up as an ongoing. I'm not looking forward to the part that's going to connect to Doom, but if they're going to tell the story that, I guess
Maybe
he'll
become an X writer. Instead of Weapon X-Men, it's just he becomes the Uncanny writer or the X-Men writer.
Maybe we get lucky. And after the Weapon X-Men, he takes over one of the main books. I don't know, but that's what I'm looking forward to. Whatever the hell he was going to originally do there. I am looking forward to Joe Kelly on ASM. I'm looking forward to the fact that we only have 6 months before the plot is actually going to start happening in Ultimate Marvel.
Getting excited.
Yeah, I mean, Hickman's going to remember about 4 months from now. Oh yeah, I had 18 months of story to write, and he's going to try to shove it into 3 issues. And we're all going to get pissed off about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Jubilee?
I no.
Okay.
The fact that they released that Laura Kinney Wolverine title, and I've literally forgot that they were releasing that book, like that they were launching another solo chick X book that's we're gonna all watch fail, like every other chick X book, solo X book. I mean, it's great. I want to see how many times. Actually,
all right.
The thing that I'm most looking forward to is how many times Tom Brevoort's going to try to do the exact same thing and relaunch a female X solo book and watch it crash with the exact same plot as the last 6 of them that got canceled too.
Very nice. Let's hear from the people's KO Productions. Do you think we will see Kyle Rayner in the new Green Lantern HBO Max show? I absolutely believe we'll see him and other Lanterns as cameos.
But he'll be really sad because it's a Tom King project.
I hope not. I like Kyle Rayner. He's a pretty cool character. You want to see Kyle Rayner and Lanterns, Dylan?
I don't really care about Kyle Rayner.
You like Kyle Rayner?
I don't really
Kyle
care
Rayner's
about
fun.
Lanterns.
Yeah, that's how I feel mainly.
Wow.
It's probably best if he appears later on and not in Lanterns. But I've always been whatever about Kyle Rayner. I've never been the biggest fan, but I don't have anything against him. But I don't think we need him in Lanterns. If he does show up, I hope he shows up later, not the show.
So you're not excited for Lanterns at all?
No, I don't understand why this is like, hey, we're doing a grounded HBO show with the space cops. That doesn't make any sense. I don't get why this
procedural.
That's like you don't choose.
Did you watch
like,
Penguin?
do the question if you want to do like something. Why are you? I like the Penguin, but the Green Lantern's not meant for this. What are we doing? Why Green Lantern is what we chose for this? It makes no sense. It was such a
Penguin
dumb
is a
mistake.
mob show. It's not a
Yeah.
it's not a cosmic level, you know.
They could have done
DC
Horse
has a
Travel and
million.
Heroes.
DC has a million detectives. They want to do a detective show. They are Detective Comics. Why are we doing the Green Lanterns for this? Put them in a movie.
They need to do an elongated man series with his wife.
Boom.
And
him and Detective Chimp team up to
oh my god. Okay,
And
so
Identity Crisis.
I love that. I think they need to be episodic, like Murder She Wrote type stuff, you know.
give me a
Maybe
Vic Sage
better
show.
written. But
Give
I
me
don't
a
want
Vic Sage question show. That
oh my
I would
god, a
watch.
question show. Now see, question, I was gonna say for an elongated man, I would not want to see like an overarching plot for a season. But the way the question would be done, I think, yeah, that would be a good way to go with that.
Yeah, because you could do like a detective show, but also like an X-Files show at the same time, like, you know, with conspiracy theory. And,
I
you know,
still
all
think
these
an
things.
elongated man, you just have some witty writing. You have the married couple like heart to heart, you know, maybe get a detective chimp every once in a while, you know.
Anybody
That'd
who
be
could
great.
write that is dead, Uel.
There's got to be some Jews that are still writing in Hollywood
Right?
that haven't been canceled. Some old ass person.
Next up, Comics Odyssey. I'm stoked for more DC Finest volumes.
Yep. Expensive though. They're like $40.
What's the big thing about the DC Finest? It's is it the size?
Yeah, I think they're just like the Marvel Epic ones. DC's done
Yeah.
this in the past, but these are their new format, and I think they look nice. They're pretty solid. They're doing a lot of the older characters right up off the bat, of course. So you know you get your Superman and Justice Society and stuff like that.
I got my first compact comic for Christmas this year, and I like the size. It fits right in
Which
my
one
pocket.
did you get?
I got All-Star Superman.
Excellent. I'm okay
Nerd
with that.
says we keep saying there's no creativity in the big two. Why don't they just steal from video games? Venom War should have been Web of Shadows.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean-
sure Jody Hauser could have adapted that, right?
Is Jody
Good
Hauser
for that.
still
I
getting
don't
work?
know. I'm just trying to get somebody.
She's
that I can't
doing
remember.
the Rise of Skywalker adaptation for Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
too
does
bad.
those Thrawn books. I read that.
I'm
book.
sure that she's. I mean, I'm sure that she's like working on IDW Star Trek or some crap. But
Is there a lot of video game stealing going on in comic books? Aaron,
needs to be-
obviously you've been in
there
publishers.
needs to be more of it. You know, you get these big video games. Like that first Spider-Man game was great. Second one not so much, but the first one was spectacular.
Is
You
that
know,
the
you
one
get
Dan Slott worked on?
no. Well, Web of Shadows was, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back before Dan Slott became the Dan Slott of today, before he morphed into what he's become. When he's, you know, was still, well, I don't want to say when he was still hungry, because I think he's always hungry. But, you know, when
think he wouldn't be.
when he
Still have
actually
ambition.
cared.
That
when
guy's
he-
fueled up and ready to go.
Carb loading. He's so carb loaded, you wouldn't believe it. No, I think that, I mean, the problem is that the same snakes that wound their way into the comic book industry have wound their way into the video game industry. So you have all that DEI nonsense. You have all the Sweet Baby Inc., you know, kind of sensibilities that are ruining video games. And comics was a lot easier to ruin because it was smaller. But, you know, with video games, you're doing it on a much larger scale to a much larger audience with much larger budgets, so that much more money is lost.
And then he says, make it an adaptation initiative. Put those adaptations in video game stores, making synergy, even have an easy way to make Paul an iconic character.
Oh, now I'm out.
That's not
Paul's already iconic.
I wish we could play a game where it was just Paul in the other universe, you know, that pocket universe. And
just
then
dying
you
over
have
and
to like
over.
hit on Mary Jane while she's there, right? Like, can you get her to hook up with you?
What if in Marvel
So they-
Rivals there was a map and a game mode where it was just kill Paul? Everybody just
Wasn't-
focus on killing Paul.
Wasn't
Oh,
there an
maybe-
initiative to get comic books into GameStop?
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Wasn't that a thing for like a year and a half?
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe Peter Parker, Spider-Man is hunting down Paul, and the Predator has a reason to go after him. What do you think?
I don't think Peter should protect Paul. Like, look,
Predator is
No, he's not
using
going to
Paul as
protect him.
bait.
He's going after Paul.
if you're Peter
Yeah.
Parker and you find out the Predator is hunting Paul, do you just kind of like stand back and go, well, let's let nature take its course?
You just make sure that you immediately go to Taco Bell and like load yourself up. You're like, I'm gonna be busy on the can for like the next, I don't know, 2-3
What is Dan
hours.
Slott there too?
All right.
Yeah,
Let's hear Nerd's version of what to do with Paul. Make Paul Venom, then
Oh.
retell the story of the symbiote wanting to be back with Peter Parker, but instead of Peter, it's just a fight over Mary Jane.
Sure.
I think
why not?
Nerd's screwing with you, Doc.
no. I think he's.
I
screwing
think
with
Paul
me,
is
too.
going to be Venom, though, in all new Venom, isn't he?
Probably.
Really? I
Can
mean,
you
I
kill
don't
him
read
then?
it, so I don't
Like,
care.
I don't know because they've tried to like really build out like the Eddie Brock. Like they've tried to make Eddie Brock other Peter, like angry, mean dad Peter.
I thought he was a bad guy.
Yeah, well, he used to be a bad guy, and
Ugh.
now he's he hangs out with Captain America now.
Oh,
So
what?
yeah,
in
no,
Captain America's book.
no. Like I remember during King in Black and Absolute Carnage, they were like, Captain America was on first name basis with Eddie Brock.
Oh,
So
That's
apparently
true.
they hang out at some point.
all right.
Marvel needs a reboot. I mean,
Yes.
you've just got to you have to just have a crisis at this point. I thought that they were going to do that with Hickman's Secret Wars,
That's what it was. I thought, but
Mhm. But then just ushered in all new, all different, which was
the same.
yeah, all the
All new,
same,
all
all the
different,
same,
but
but with less
same.
sales.
Yeah.
There you go, Nerd. I don't think everybody's on board with Paul being Venom, but I am on board with Spider-Man hunting him down and letting Spider-Boy eat his head.
I would love to
That's what
see
he
the
likes to
Predator
do.
just pull Paul's head and spine out. Like, wouldn't that be great if like the
Ooh.
Predator story actually mattered within the larger Marvel universe? The problem with Predator is every movie that you do, every story that you do, the Predator always has to lose. So the Predators are just a bunch of jobbers at this point. They're
Yeah.
just coming in and do the job for whatever your character is.
The Predator, if it went through and like slaughtered a lot of the spiders, thinking that it was they were going after Peter, but since they do that like seeing heat vision thing, they keep
That would
thinking
be
that
cool.
they're killing Peter, but they're killing all the other spider people instead. I'd be fine with that.
Just ripping Spider-Boy's head off.
Yeah, just
Mhm.
keep ripping all their spines
Aw,
out.
you guys are breaking Jim's heart. That's his favorite character. It's probably the best Spider-Man book we have.
Wow.
True that.
Exactly. Ideator, Marvel's best event of 2024 was Marvel's Rivals. This is the perfect jumping on point for new readers, as most don't read comics. They'll fumble it. So I've heard of
there you go.
Marvel's
I play
Rivals. I'm not
Snaps.
paying any attention to it. It's a video game.
Yeah, it's like
it's
an
an
it's a-
Overwatch clone.
an Overwatch clone, but with Marvel characters, but with really great character designs.
Marvel
Like
likes clones.
they made Squirrel Girl attractive.
With her buck
And
teeth
now
and
people
everything,
are like-
because that's a BJ.
No,
nobody
no,
one.
they got rid of they took out the
That's
stupid
the
buck
way
teeth.
to
They
have
got
it.
rid of
Well,
all
that's
of
not
the,
my
you know-
squirrel girl. I want
They
it
got
to
rid
be
of all that.
accurate.
Yeah, no, they were like, hey, we got Lily,
This is
the
more like when
AT&T
she's
girl.
a
We get
nana.
to voice her,
Squirrel Girl.
let's and that girl's hot, so let's make Squirrel Girl hot. All the character designs are great. They're all very well done, very well thought out. All the women are attractive, all the men look heroic. It's good stuff.
How is it compared to the AEW video game?
The one that I finally deleted off of my PS5.
So did you give it Marvel Rivals on it?
Marvel Rivals, and then I downloaded 2K24 because I was like, I want to play some wrestling that doesn't suck,
Mhm.
and so I've been having a little bit of fun with that.
Dylan, are you on Marvel Rivals?
No, I hate Overwatch, so this doesn't appeal to me at all. I don't care. Just because they put a Marvel coat of paint on Overwatch doesn't mean I'm going to touch it.
Wow.
What's
what about
wrong with
DC Code of
Overwatch?
Paint?
It's just a terrible game. It sucks. The gameplay's okay. The game modes are awful. It's just push the point, hold the point. It's terrible, and I just don't like it. I don't care about it. Not my type of game.
Well, it seems like people like it, but me personally,
people
I'm in the Philippines. Nobody's talking about it here, and I ain't got time for a video game right now. There you go.
It's definitely big, but I don't care.
Well, they need to get some synergy for comic books into that game, then, and let people know that there's more stories with the characters.
It won't really translate. It's just like the movies. It's like people will show up and they'll fumble the chance. Because they'll stand on they'll die on the hill of, we can't make these characters attractive. We need to maintain our sensibility. There's 12 weirdos on Twitter there's 12 weirdos on Blue Sky that don't read comic books that'll be upset if the characters are attractive. We can't do that.
Next up from Nerd. Also, I think One World Under Doom is only happening now because of movie envy. They want the movies to adapt the comics like they used to.
They've been setting up this story for years.
I'd agree.
But
Ryan North is the one who's writing it, so he has been working on the Fantastic Four books for like a while now. So,
well, they set it up actually in that what was
that
the
preview.
before Timeless?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With Jed McKay.
Yep.
Yeah, back when it used to be
Before the Hive Mind.
when it was the Kang book,
Yeah.
because they were setting up Kang
Oh, yeah,
for the
that's right.
MCU, and then Jonathan Majors happened, and now it's Cable.
Yeah, so they set it up there, and then obviously they executed in Blood Hunt. They haven't even touched on it in the Ryan North's Fantastic Four book. I mean, they acknowledged it, but they haven't really done anything with it.
I
So
see.
most of the heavy lifting happened outside of there. And I guess Spider-Man with 8 deaths being tied into Doom being
That's a little
supposedly
strange stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but even like around, I forget when it was, like years ago, they had I think it was in that previews deal of what would be happening, and one of them was Doom being the Sorcerer Supreme to start that up. But that was years and years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think they would obviously like to get back to where comic books were creating the stories that the MCU was mining, but we're well past that, it feels like. Federico de la Casa. Hey guys, happy New Year's Eve. All hail Doomface. It's not New Year's Eve, is it?
No,
Eve.
it's New Year's Eve.
Yeah, okay.
But it will be. He's saying have a happy New Year's Eve.
Oh,
Oh,
Mhm.
yes.
He wants
absolutely.
us to, yeah,
he
he's
said-
future projecting.
okay.
I can tell
All
you
right.
right now, I'm going to be like here with my kids sleeping and all that stuff, bitching about people setting off fireworks. But Dylan's probably going to be at the Hyatt living it up, the Four Seasons or something.
Hookers and blow.
Is that what you're doing, Dylan?
No, that's
Oh.
not. That's not on the. I have no idea what my plans are right now. I don't have any plans, Bob.
Well, then you, sir, are wasting your 20s.
You've only got a few years left, dude.
Yeah, true. I'll figure it out once we get there. But as of right now, I have no idea what I'm doing on New Year's.
Why is it when Doc said hookers and blow, I just expected to see somebody post, Donnie Cates has entered the chat.
So if anyone's going to have a fun time, it's probably Dylan. The least likely to have a good time probably is Jim. Do you have plans on New Year's?
No.
You're going to be recording like
die.
a DC podcast?
I guess what, for New Year's, or I don't do anything for that. I'm telling you, I'm the worst at this time. I've never been allowed to enjoy this time, so it's kind of ingrained. So there you go.
There you
Misery.
I think we'll all have a nice time, but we are old men for the most part outside of Dylan, who is an old soul. So maybe he'll be reading comic books for the new year.
DC Superhero, right?
Yeah. Mr. DC Comics. DC seems like they're trying to move in a better direction. A lot of good books from them. The Superman movie looks interesting. I hope it's a hit. 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I love that. I'm getting
I agree.
customers ready for that. We're gonna go see that.
You hate superhero movies. You always.
I do.
crap on
I'm
them.
ready to do this. I haven't watched the trailer. I'm looking forward to it.
You haven't
I've been
seen
looking
Crypto?
forward to it when I heard him talking about it. I was watching your videos and you were kind of like down on him. But I feel like James Gunn
I'm
of
still
all the
skeptical.
people. I just feel like hearing all the new characters that are going to be, or all the characters that are going to be in the movie is kind of a little disappointing. But I think James Gunn he said the words that I need to hear to make this a movie that I want to see. I'm going to see it.
Kellex is in the trailer. Does that get you excited?
Sure. He's cool.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be good. But I agree, Mr. DC Comics. DC's going in a much better direction comic book wise as well. Federico De La Casa, I'm a little intrigued for Hickman's Imperial. I'm pissed off for the Harley Quinn fart comic. What's next, DC? Poop Comics? DC stands for disgusting comic books.
Or degenerate comics.
There's
Degenerate,
no reason
I
to be
like his
upset.
better.
It's just one thing, and they're doing it to get people to talk about it. It's just a stupid thing. Just ignore it.
Yeah, ignore it or buy it. It's even better. Show them
Don't buy
right.
it.
Pants
Don't
off.
buy it. Don't
pants
encourage
off,
them.
that
It's
thing.
the red band. It's just
Are
don't
you
encourage them.
No, you need to cover that up so some jerk isn't scratching the butt sniffs, the butt farts.
And I ended up talking about it. It's the thing that gets me. I'm a Harley Quinn fan, and the woman has a PhD, for crying out loud, and she's in a book where she's farting on people. It's just, this is why people don't like Harley. And
Did you see the great? Did you see
I
the great?
remember.
The great joke that they put out in the Joanne Starrer put out there too, where she's sitting on Plastic Man's shoulders saying, "Who run Fart Town?"
Yeah.
in a reference to how long ago was Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome?
It's like
Also,
88,
if you're going
right?
to make that joke, you say "Who runs Farter Town?" because that more
Yeah.
closely matches the "Who runs
Farter
Barter
Town.
Town." So you bungled the bad
Yeah, you
joke.
bungled it.
You know, you didn't even do that right. And then the editor is like putting a thing down there, like she stole this joke from me, like so proud of it, like taking credit for it. It's just everybody involved with that book should be fired and
They'll be like,
blacklisted from the
you
industry.
can't handle the fart. They'll just keep, all these stupid jokes.
Oh my god, you're right.
Imperial's gonna be-
I'll be your fart girl anytime.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They'll-
Replace a movie line with a word in
fart.
the movie line with fart, and that's
Yeah.
the whole book.
Yeah. It's just a
Imperial
joke.
certainly is more intriguing. Are you excited for this, Yule? Because it is returning to Jonathan Hickman working with Cannonball and Sunspot when he was taking him out to the Shia or Empire. I guess it's going to be working with the Imperial Guard and all that stuff. Likely to get, what is her name? Smasher?
Yeah. I think that's
Cannonball's
cool.
baby,
Cannonball, Sunspot, and their love affair is kind of strange when Hickman's writing it, I feel. But ever since the 12 X-Men, the 12 mutants that are going to be worth a shit in the future, Cannonball was one of them. So it is
That
nice
makes
to see him
sense.
get a starring role, hopefully.
Yeah, he was an adventurer under Hickman too. He, for some reason, he loves those two characters.
Well, yeah, he does. He really does. He must have read a lot of New Mutants probably when he was a kid.
Yeah, that's the only reason he would ever like Cypher as much as he does too.
Yeah, I agree. Doug Ramsey always sucked. And
But Warlock
Doc
is
is
great.
right. Am I right on that one? Right, Doc?
Warlock
Doug
is
Ramsey
pretty
always
correct.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why Warlock stuck around for a while.
Well, until Rob decided he didn't want to draw Warlock every month.
Yeah, he really
yeeted him out of it.
Yeah. So he killed him in Extinction Agenda.
Next up, we've got HH and the boys from Sigma Comics. Happy 2025 to our aficionados. Indie comics are motoring into 2025 like a runaway 18-wheeler, wishing indie creators and YouTubers a great 2025 and beyond. You too, sir. Hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve and a blessed new year on the horizon. And congratulations on all your success with Sigma Comics. And here comes Calico this year. The man was out there hustling, and it got paid off.
Damn
Yep.
right.
He measures the sales in tonnage rather than dollars now. That's how you do it. Kaiser Jose, forget the big two. Talk about Image's amazing 2024. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying Ghost Machine. I'm enjoying all the Energon stuff. G.I. Joe looks amazing headed into 2025. Image had a pretty darn good year. Was it a big seller in the store, Yule?
Transformers, of course. Energon all the way.
I do want to point out that you made fun of me when I was excited about Transformers and Daniel Warner
That's
Johnson.
wrong.
You're like,
Yeah,
nobody will buy this book. It's
Nobody will buy
fucking
it.
Transformers.
Yule was wrong. Well, I think I do believe I said I've never been in a situation where I've sold a lot of Transformers. That's my Doc impersonation there.
Well, you are correct.
Right. But I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's been doing really good. I'm not reading the book, but a lot of people are, and I'm really enjoying it. And my numbers have remained steady throughout. Kind of also a lot of people are, now I'm getting back into this, and now they're buying the 6, 7, and 8, and well, you got a lot more issues to go, that type of thing.
It's
If
pretty
you're a store
wild
and
when
you
you
have
look at,
them, You can
the
sell 'em.
rankings that we have, it's like actually competing with Ultimate Spider-Man, which you wouldn't have considered possible.
Well, I guess they had the movie recently. Daniel Warren Johnson is really, if you want to have a superstar working for your company, it's Daniel Warren Johnson, and anybody else is below him. He can write, he can draw. He's liked. His art sells, and original art sells for lots and lots of money, and people really flock for his books. And I think he's the guy. If you were going to do an event at DC and you're not thinking him first, if you're doing an event at Marvel and you're not thinking of him first, I think he's proven he can do really powerful stuff, and it can be the dumbest of dumb things, and it's still the most powerful stuff that's in comics right now for the most part.
As much as I like Energon, I still find Ghost Machine more exciting. I'm more excited for Rook to return than anything.
Yeah, Ghost Machine's doing really well too. It's not Transformers and Energon, but
Well, yeah, there's less awareness. It doesn't have a brand
for
built
sure.
in.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
there's nobody. And there's nobody out there promoting it the way that Transformers is getting promoted, the way Energon's getting promoted. Ghost Machine's biggest problem is getting the word out to readers.
Yeah, I mean, you got the pros that work in the industry all at Ghost Machine. Everybody that liked something 20 years ago is probably working at Ghost Machine right now, and anybody that's see, I think what it ultimately comes down to, and forget about the big two. I always joke when I'm talking to the old timers. You know what Will Eisner's problem was? He never had a Spider-Man run. That was his problem. And you can do the greatest stuff at Ghost Machine. You can do the greatest stuff when I was growing up for Comico, Pacific Comics, First Comics, Boom Today, Oni. It's not Spider-Man and it ain't Batman. And until you're doing that, most people really don't care. Can you think of, I was just talking about yesterday, you X out the turtles, so no turtles. Mainstream people, what is the independent thing that they know in comics? Not
Walking
big two.
Dead.
Walking Dead, maybe. Yeah. And
But how many people worked on The Walking Dead?
what's the character?
3.
I mean, I figured about one. Spawn's probably the closest.
I think more normie people would know The Walking Dead than Spawn.
Yeah. There you go. I think those
What about the boys?
Yeah, most normies would be like
Invincible now.
the
too.
boys now. I mean, I think with
Invincible?
the Amazon stuff, but yeah, I really would suggest that most people still don't know those characters.
No, I agree with you all. I don't think that it permeates the.
Oh, I don't think it's truly permeated the cultural zeitgeist yet, but I feel
It's
like
just hard for these Ghost Machine books. I mean, it's a in comic books, it's just a time period where they were putting out really good stuff until they're putting out stuff for Marvel or DC again. It sounds sucks, but when independent people come and ply their trade at the big two is when I'm really excited about their stuff more often than not.
Very nice. Rate X7. I guess Hickman couldn't get hired to write Legion of Superheroes, so he's going to write Marvel's Legion knockoff Imperium. I don't really consider New Mutants a knockoff of Legion of Superheroes, though, right?
I guess kind of they are.
Are they?
Let's think about this.
The
Dave
Imperial
Cockrum was an artist over at DC on Legion of Superheroes, and then came over to Marvel and did the X-Men, where they created the Shi'ar.
And yeah, the
I
Imperial
think it might
Guard.
be a knockoff.
Yeah, and he
used characters that he was going to use in Legion
and character design, costume designs.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time,
thank you for clearing it up.
Well, if DC ain't doing it,
and
that's
honestly,
the dumbest thing in the world. DC was pitched from Jonathan Hickman, Legion of Superheroes, and they didn't greenlight it. They're fucking idiots.
Yep.
And honestly, the Krakoan era of X-Men feels like what he probably would have done with the Legion. Set it in the 31st century so that there's no It doesn't need to match up with what's going on in fucking Batman and Superman and Justice League and all that shit. That's almost definitely the kind of thing he'd be doing.
Then he says, I'm calling it now. Imperium is going to have several issues of people standing around talking, and the plot will rip off an old Legion story.
I don't know about the plot, but I'm sure the talking will happen.
Well, as soon as I saw like the Imperium, when they first made the announcement, I saw Krakoa Twitter going, I hope this is about Wiccan and Hulkling. And I was like, I think Marvel wants a successful event. And then I saw the people that were talking about, like, I hope it's about the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, like the old school X-heads. We're talking about that. And it was like, no, it's not really.
That's what he had been setting up in his New Mutants, like 4 or 5 issues that he did.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the weirdest book ever.
Yeah. Stupid book.
With his story and Brisson's story that were completely
alternated.
Different. Alternating issues.
Oh my god, it was the dumbest thing ever.
No, like, visual consistency, no storytelling consistency, not even like in the slightest bit of a plot through line. They needed to do 2 titles, but the publisher only wanted to do 1. So he did them both in the same title.
But he's clearly going to continue doing what he wanted to do there. So that'll be good for him. Tevia says, do you think Nick Lowe will be fired in 2025? I do not.
No.
There we go. I guess we're unanimous. Latino Slant. This is a good one. Look at that handsome Aaron Sparrow.
Why, hello, Polly. Polly is quite handsome himself. Max couldn't be here, so I had to fill in on the handsome quotient. Quite a downgrade.
No, you think you're looking pretty good. You got a little Iron Maiden going on there.
Iron Samus. Yeah,
It's Iron Santas? Oh, no.
Iron Samus from Metroid. Come on.
From Metroid.
Oh, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Faith Kaiser Rum. I would love to see Morrison era Animal Man on the big screen. Also, an ongoing comic would be great as well. Who would you have direct the film? An ongoing Animal Man. That's like the movie James Gunn should have done. Like an Animal Man movie.
I think Animal Man works more for the small screen, actually. If I'm talking about the Morrison stuff, it felt a little bit more episodic, with the exception of the invasion story.
If you like Animal Man, like Jeff Lemire actually had a pretty decent run there for a minute. If you like Animal Man, there's not a lot of good Animal Man runs, unfortunately.
Or there's only certain runs, and then that's it.
You just got an Animal Man movie. It was called Kraven the Hunter, and it starred Aaron Taylor Johnson, and it was a cinematic tour de force. It was a blockbuster.
I got an Animal Man from Rob Schneider or something. Or was that the Animal?
Rob Schneider is
Rob Schneider
Man.
was just the animal.
He's a carrot.
He's about to find out. Tough life can be pretty tough for an Animal Man.
Do you guys remember the Animal?
I do remember that movie.
From the Survivor on it or something. Colleen, I might be wrong on that one, but yeah, I think you might be right on that one. It's probably better for a TV show, but if you're going to do a movie, I think Gunn would probably do a good job. We'll see about that. Dylan Lindsay, hello all. Wes, great year of videos. One of the few channels I watch consistently. Looking forward to what you bring in 2025. Hope it includes YouTube membership options and more rants. Patreon sucks. I don't know, man. The Patreon's been pretty good to me. I like what's going on there. I've considered and planned on opening up to YouTube memberships, but YouTube makes me mad sometimes. I should probably do it, though. I probably should. But I'll look into it again. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and thank you very much for supporting the channel, and I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. Mr. DC Comics, the Transformers movie versus the MCU, which of the two had better action? Which one did you all enjoy the most? Transformers movies versus the MCU. I was about to say, like, one movie versus the MCU.
On the whole,
well, Transformers
certainly
had more action.
You couldn't tell what was going on in any of the Michael Bay ones.
Yeah, the Michael Bay spinny twisty cam made
with a bunch of metal grasshoppers that are all the same color, basically.
Yeah.
When we watched Bumblebee, Marie said about it. She goes, I like this movie. She goes, it's got heart, and it's the first one that I can tell which robot is which.
Yeah.
Certainly like the MCU more. Phases 1 through 3, definitely. But I do think I'd rather watch Shang-Chi than like Transformers, like Arthur, like Legend of the Sword crossover thing they did. Was that nice?
I never want to watch Shang-Chi.
I would watch all of every single Transformers movie before I would watch Shang-Chi, Eternals.
Shang-Chi wasn't bad.
Literally the only movie that I would like that's in the post Endgame is Spider-Man.
What about Guardians 3?
Honestly, I didn't even think Guardians. I know it did well. I wasn't super impressed with it. A lot of the plot from that they were setting up in 2 just kind of got dropped.
I thought the High Evolutionary was awesome.
I'm not saying that like the High Evolutionary was good. There was a lot of really good stuff, but like everything in the plots from the second movie just kind of got forgotten about, or like was there as kind of like oh yeah, we set this up, so I guess
the second movie sucked. I'm glad that they dropped it.
Adam Warlock, Aisha, all that shit.
The second movie did not suck.
It did suck.
I didn't care for the second.
It's Guardians. The Iron Man 2 of Phase 4, dude.
I liked it better. I liked it better. I liked it better than the first Guardians.
In which case, then Guardians 3.
You're just saying that to be different, Aaron. You don't believe that. You're a smart man. I absolutely do.
I like the themes. I like the themes more. I liked what they did.
I mean, they pulled off Ego of the Living Planet better than they probably should have. It's the Sovereign was really terrible. The opening credit scene, which they put far too much emphasis on.
That was way too. Yeah, I will give you the opening credit scene. Like by the midpoint of the opening credit scene, I was like, I'm done with this. Can we go on now? Like, I'm done with Baby Groot. But it gave me more Yondu, and more Michael Rooker is always a good thing.
I kind of like. I'd say the highlight is Drax and Manta, but you don't get a whole lot of that.
Drax and Mantis is good. They're great in the Christmas special.
We watched the Christmas special this year. It's actually kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting Kevin Bacon.
That was great. I still
you know what I loved about Guardians 2? Someone just in the chat said it. Taserface. Just the dumbest character.
Yeah, I thought Taserface stupid.
I was okay with that joke because I remember when Taserface debuted in the comic books. I was like, "This, come on, what are you doing? What are we doing here?" So I was glad they mocked the shit out of it because that was the dumbest character name ever.
Next up, Federico De La Costa. If Marvel was wise after Empire, they would arrange marriage Hulkling with the Shi'ar heir, make Wiccan be his side piece because the Empire is more important.
I'm not interested in reading any more Hulkling or Wiccan stories at all. So, I mean, you couldn't really get me. I mean, that's not a bad idea, but you couldn't really get me on board with reading anything with those two characters.
Well, they don't do much with them, but I know Doc really loves that. What's that cosmic book from Al Ewing that you like so much?
I like the Ultimates.
Yeah, you love the Ultimates.
Too. I thought it was very well done. They weren't in that.
That's where he was. No, that's not the one I'm talking about.
I like the cosmic book by Al Ewing was the Ultimates.
No, he had another one with those two in it.
Oh, I don't fucking know about that.
You said
I don't think they
loved
were
it.
in that. Yeah, you're right. We're all thinking about Empire.
Yeah,
it's way more than the super chat's worth.
No, because
all right,
America.
You told me to move on.
America Chavez was the only other shitty. America Chavez, Captain Marvel, Blue Marvel, Photon, Galactus, and I feel like there's one other character that I'm blanking on. And like, it was actually a fairly well done story with decent great art, and none of the characters were fucking obnoxious in it. And it was around the time where these characters were always everywhere, and they were perpetually obnoxious.
Chris J827, hope you all have a happy New Year, aficionados. Well, you too, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the
Appreciate that. I hope you as well.
the sentiment. And right back at you. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. How about that? Haven't used that in a while. I'm like 5 years old. Thank you very much to everybody for joining the channel today. Let's talk about some comic book recommendations and sign this bad boy off. My voice is starting to get away from me again because Doc startled me with his baseless accusations of bad memory. Uel Carter, you are the man behind Fantastic Comics. You also have a YouTube channel of the same name. Is there anything people should be looking out for in the store or on the channel before you talk about your comic books people should read?
I'm gonna stream on Tuesday, and depending on how many people show up, maybe I'll make it to the New Year.
You're just gonna go until it's time to leave?
No, I'll do it East Coast style on that one. I will make it to the New Year on that one.
24 hours of YouTube.
If you want to do 12 hours straight, talk to Jim. He's game for it. He's done it in the past.
Oh yeah. You know what, Jim? You should come on by. We could totally jam for a few hours.
Yeah, we will. That'd be awesome.
I'm not going to be open. This will be my first. I hit 0 at the bank, and I'm choosing to take New Year's Day off, and that's where new comics are coming in. So I'm being real
Debt
crazy.
free is the greatest gift in the world.
Yeah, it really is. Maybe I could do anything now.
The world is your oyster.
It really is. I didn't really read any comics from this week yet, but I read Green Arrow number 18 because the last time I was on, you guys were really raving about that Condon guy writing it. And I've had customers that enjoyed his Texas Blood Image series and some other things. So I finally read that issue, and it was a good first issue of the storyline that's going on. I like the art. It was
second issue came out this week. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading that. It had a real kind of like a Mike Grellen parts, or maybe even more Neil Adams style in some of the paneling, but it's also kind of Sorrentino style. So who knows how much real drawing is being done. But yeah, I'll say Green Arrow 18, but 19 came out this week.
Very, very nice. Heading over to Dylan, the Real Comic Book Gamer. Is there anything coming out from the channels or the streaming that people should be looking out for before the new year?
Yeah, I just did a video on my thoughts on the Superman trailer. So if you want to know my full thoughts on that, check that out. I'm also working on a video right now talking about some of my favorite Superman stories because with the Superman being hot again, I see a lot of people talking about it and wondering what Superman comics to read. So look out for that. And I might do a stream on New Year's Eve. Haven't streamed in a bit, so that could be fun. Do a New Year's Eve stream.
Are you going to be playing video games, or you're just going to be talking comic books and nerd stuff?
Probably a mix of both. That's generally what I like to do. You know, run around Gotham, one of the Arkham games, and talk about what's going on in comics. It's fun.
Very cool. You got any books you want to recommend this week?
Yeah, I got a few. Superman 21, I enjoyed it. It was fun. Green Arrow number 19, which we just talked about, which is good. Which I loved Montos on Green Lantern. Wasn't sold on him on Green Arrow until the action sequence in this week's book. I'm like, okay, I think he's good.
It's a tale of two halves of the book. I thought the first half was kind of meandering. Then when it kind of gets good, it gets real good.
I agree. I will say I don't like this design for Green Arrow though. I don't like it. I don't like this Green Arrow suit. It's not
like the handkerchief over his face.
Yeah, it's just the whole everything. Like this is not. We know it works for Green Arrow. This ain't it, but that's just a minor gripe. Absolute Wonder Woman number 3. I'm still enjoying it. It's pretty fun. Hellhunters number 1 was really good. I liked it a lot. This is pretty cool. I'm excited the way we get the origin for this Ghost Rider and the hunting Nazis. It's World War II. Got some dialogue that goes hard. I posted about it on Twitter. That was pretty sick. When he's like, you gotta. You're damned for killing a nation of innocents. Like your meat will be roasting in hell. That was sick. Hellhunters number 1 was pretty cool. Excited for what we got coming forward with Wolverine in the next issue. Geiger number 9 was pretty good, although I'm still very much missing Gary Frank. I liked it. We got some action. Red Coat number 8 was great. I loved this. This was a one-off issue. Nice. It very much reminded me of Justin Gray, Jimmy Palmiotti, what they did with Jonah Hex. It reminded me of something straight out of there. It was really cool. I loved it. Red Coat number 8 would be like my recommendation of the week. It was great.
It was a very, very good comic book. Great stuff all around. You and I are pretty much on the same wavelength there. Sparrow, anything people should be looking out for you? You gonna be making any appearances this week, or are you taking it easy?
Dylan stole all my thunder, man. He recommended all the books that I was like, it's a really big week. I'm gonna have stuff to actually recommend. And then
recommended
Dylan,
all the books.
Slept through most of it. No, there's a couple other good things out this week. Void Rivals is out this week. Batman Long Halloween 4 is out. So if you like those stories, I would check that out. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero is out this week. So that is fantastic. Excited about that. 312. And we've actually got a kind of a dark horse that I want to recommend. Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk by Frank Thierry. Number 1 is out this week. It looks really, really good. I have not read it yet, but it looks good. So I'm going to say
very weird comic book.
Is it? Okay, I'm going to give it a tentative recommend just based on Frank Thierry, but the plot line sounded good, from what I read. And my biggest recommend this week is check out Final Fight number 3. If you guys like the Final Fight video game, Matt Moylan over at Udon has been adapting that into a comic book series. There's a really great cover with Poison choking out Cody on the cover with her whip. And it's got great art by Matthew Weldon. So, I definitely recommend that you guys go pick that up. If you've missed the first two, definitely grab all 3 because that's a fun game. It's a fun story. Those are fun characters. The art is great. Matt's done a fun job adapting it. I think that you guys will like it.
Well, very nice. Next, we got Jim from Weird Science. I know you read a lot of comic books. You got anything worth recommending, or maybe some dirty songs you want to pimp out here before we go?
I have a dirty side. I'm on the kind of the teeter here of this song that I made. I think it might get me completely kicked off of YouTube, so I may not put it up. But I'll go Hell Hunters at Marvel. That'll be my one selection.
Well, you liked more than that, didn't you?
And just it's time to go.
All right.
I don't really. I ended up looking at some stuff. I like Spider-Boy and stuff, but I really didn't love anything that I was going to recommend. I haven't read everything yet. I have to read some stuff when we're done.
Well, very nice. Keep Jim in your prayers. Hopefully he'll be around for 2025.
No, that's pray against that. Right now too. While we were recording, I don't know. I think our heater broke. So what was at like 50 degrees is now like 30 in here. And I can see my breath and I'm getting pissed off. But
turn off your water, dude.
Yeah. I already did that. I was letting it drip and then I'm like, it's getting really cold in here. And it's a disaster.
All right, Doc, it's up to you. You're going to take us home on this one. You got anything you want to recommend this week?
All right. Yes, I do actually. First, we're going to go with, since Aaron's here. Hey, I got this for it was on clearance at friggin' Walmart for $6.72.
That's
that
right.
is
Overlord,
the appropriate prices
Warlord
for these Legends figures.
Yeah, if you can get them in the $10 range, that's 10 and below. That's the way to go.
Yeah. So I dig it. It's a pretty nice looking figure. So picked that up. Came in the other day. Then, since I love that, here's the introduction of Xavier as the Warlord. X-Men 2. Well, I think he actually appears on he might appear in cameo on 274. It's been a while since I read it. Or no, that might have just been. No, I don't remember. So yes, 275. Warlord Xavier as the Warlord. Then, since we're doing an Xavier theme, back when he was not always evil.
He was always evil.
I know, right?
It's in the eyebrows.
Yep, it's in those arched eyebrows. X-Men Annual number 1. This is basically a reprint of X-Men number 9 plus X-Men. There's a couple other issues that are reprinted in here, but yeah, so this is a pretty nice looking copy. You can find it relatively cheap too. It's surprisingly not. Those annuals aren't that bad price wise. Then, okay, first of all, I love this cover, but this is not the regular version. This is the one that comes in that McFarlane Marvel Gallery statue. The ones And so you got this and actually a little card too, like a collector's card. So it's kind of cool.
Oh,
So you get a trading card and you get a reprint of Hulk 345. Love this issue. Love this cover. I have a thing for characters interacting with the masthead of, especially destroying the masthead of comic.
Same.
It's just a cool visual all the time. So, and then finally, we actually have a new comic.
wow.
This came out the week before last, but G.I. Joe #2. It's really good. You should read it.
I'm gonna get on that.
Don't
read
listen
it.
to Sus Gabe. He's sus.
Yes, Gabe is sus. But no, seriously, G.I. Joe is a really good comic book. I like it. So go pick it up. And yeah, that's everything I got for this week. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up now and let Wes go and get his chicken nuggies.
Man, I was gonna take a leak, and I was like, Doc's only gonna have 3 books again. He's gonna totally. I didn't do it. I'm holding it till we get here to the end. But I want to say thank you very much to everyone. Hope you had a magnificent Christmas, a blessed New Year. Hope everyone has a good time. Have a plan. Don't drink and drive. Get home to your families. Have a good. Make sure you're out there with the right people. You don't want to be with people that are going to put you in bad situations. And certainly get your geek on and read some comic books for the new year. Going to have some fun. I will see you all around the next weekend, hopefully with a better voice.
In 2020.